Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome here to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here in GPVWC's Formula Sprint 1 season of 2025. After a captivating performance back in Tuesday from a fairly hectic Formula Sprint 2, Formula Sprint 1 returns to the street racing action here after its travels in Turkey and Japan. The last 2 years here in Jeddah has seen 4 races with 4 different race winners, so it's going to be an interesting circumstances for the championship up ahead on the end of the short Asian leg. As always, broadcast directors with Remco Zeeuw, and joining alongside me for the commentary is Alex Hallows. Hello, Alex.
Hello, it's great to be back for another week of racing, and of course another week of racing in Formula Sprint 1 to be precise. I'm happy to be consistently back to back now. This time, not missing out on the race this time. Apart from Owen, who's unfortunately not here with us, but it's good to be next to you tonight, Amir. It's great to meet you.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's one of the longest tracks here on the calendar here in the entire GPVWC ladder, just behind Spa-Francorchamps at a staggering 6.1 kilometers. It's also the longest Asian and the longest street racing track here on the calendar, combined with a staggering 27 corners. A quick look for the calendar ahead for Formula Sprint 1 to see what's coming up ahead after this short race. It's going to be very interesting here. We're about midway point through that spring leg, after which we travel through to Spain for Barcelona in the Spanish Grand Prix, and then the United States, after which we have our mid-season break by that point, and then we travel back over to Canada, Britain, Germany, Belgium, Hungary, and Italy in that very, very difficult European leg. And this is actually going to be one of the last few street circuits that we're going to see for quite some time until the return back in there with Singapore, actually. So with a lot of these street racing circuit specialists, this is going to be their time to shine here. Slowly with qualifying starting and going underway now with just about under 13 minutes left to go. It's been a very exciting season that we've seen here so far, with Andrew Zitsky only having an 8-point deficit just ahead of Mateusz Majka. And with that itself, Malta Force in itself has got about a 90-point lead a 90-point lead ahead of Team Sheba in the Teams Championship. So it's been early signs of progress for Malta Force, I must say. Maybe it looks to clinch another championship to the name, but it's been a pretty good season so far. We've seen lots of interesting battles, a lot of interesting moments here, and see what we've seen here before with the Formula Sprint 2. It's going to be interesting to see how these FS1 drivers fare at the Jeddah Street Circuit.
Yep, it's gonna be a fun one. Malta Force, having that big extended lead in the constructors championship, as you said, 90 points. So hopefully they're not going to be celebrating too early just yet. It's still anyone's gain here, especially after Team Jeep's successful win in the sprint race last round, with the Oates winning and having a very strong race in race 2 as well, finishing P7, and there is also Apex Grand Prix, who are just 9 points behind Team Sheba in the constructors, who are 3rd place as well. And it goes down by HGP, Nexium, KKR, Overpower, and Pixelate, Team Iris, and Hyperion. That's our top 10 from the constructors. And yeah, top. I feel like in the main championship, it's still all to play for. As I'm just saying, the points differences 8 points, as you mentioned, between Majka and Andrzejewski, both Malta Force GP drivers as well. It's going to be hopefully not going to be a Hamilton versus Rosberg scenario. fingers crossed, and hopefully everyone will have a very clean race despite it being a street circuit.
Absolutely. Back in Istanbul was the only time where the Malta Force Grand Prix drivers didn't actually finish onto the podium. With at that point, Majka finished 4th and Andrzejewski 7th. But seeing here from the early stages of qualifying here, which somewhat translates a bit to the race podium a bit, or whatever cultivates in the grid position over into race results, it's pretty much going to be interesting to see how they would fare here. Because it's not just about race 1 as well, because it's also the second race as well, with that lottery grid system put into place. That means that the grid itself has been shuffled up a bit. So it's kind of a bit hard to make these overtakes here. You have to be really, really risky and be a bit daring, but also make sure that you trust you make sure that you don't get your car too much damage. But we have seen here in cases before where it does get a bit hectic here. So have to see how all these 30 drivers get through here in this race. And I'm really looking forward to that, Alex.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I have a very big heart for street circuits like Jeddah. That's on the calendar. That, you know, it shows a lot of action, a lot of overtake possibilities in a lot of tight corners, and I really can't wait to see more of that here. And as we see in the qualifying so far, Andrzejewski still ahead with provisional pole with a 1:36.7. So a strong start so far for the Multiforce GP driver, as well as Lattinen, who is driving for Apex Grand Prix, just behind, followed by Oates and Micah. Still, there are still some other drivers who are needing to do those times. Saracino is due to make a time. Hamming, Flack, and the Tutis. And there's, as you see, there's more drivers down there who are due to, college has started after all. There is a purple Sector 1 there by Zabinski, who's making their first time ever. So very possible it could be anyone's. You know, not everyone's going to make the perfect lap on their first go. I'd say give them maybe 2 more laps, and maybe they'll get that perfect purple sectors everywhere. And you know, it could be anyone's. It could be anyone's on the street circuit. I really can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Zabinski's done very well for the first sector, as much to say, but looking for Andrzejewski, who's the championship leader, and Lattinen, who's also coming off from his first win in the Formula Sprint just the last race ago. As Zabinski does improve himself, he gets us up into 7th for Hyperion, which is going to be a really good points tally if they can able to convert that into a race result. And Mateus did absolutely phenomenal to put that up into 7th. As we see now with Andrzejewski, he's now going to go for another fly lap now. He's going to try and improve his 1:36.7. It's already 1.5 tenths faster than Lattinen, as Rushak, as you can just see, he has been promoted himself up into 3rd, and already early kicking doors here midway through the qualifying session here so far.
Yeah, I think Andrzejewski's main objective here is to improve that Sector 1, because as we saw, Zabinski had a purple when we drove around on their point of view, and there we go. There's the purple there that Pavel Andrzejewski needed, and hopefully I think there's going to be a good improvement on the lap time here as we go around into Sector 2. Really hard, difficult corners around here as we go into the fast corners here. I need to find the map. I've lost my map. There it is. I think we go into 18 and 19, if I'm correct, if I've got the tracking right, and into the nice fast left and right hander. We just got to lift and brake a bit. He goes off track. I don't know if that's going to be I think that is allowed still. I don't know if that's gained in time, but there is a purple in Sector 2, so I think this is going to be a real good lap there by Andrzejewski as we go into the final corner of turn 27. And going into the start finish, it's going to be a very big improvement here as we go across the line. Is it going to be a big one? It is. Yes, it is a very big improvement of a 36.6. Nicely done there by Andrzejewski.
Could have been more if it improved for the 3rd sector, but that 1st and 2nd sector was a blistering lap time, exactly what Andrzejewski needed to do. Lattinen himself had actually improved for that 1st sector, but couldn't quite tie it up to make much of a gain there. So Andrzejewski improves his gap even further to 2.79, and it looks all that more comfortable there for the Multiforce driver to get himself a pole position onto his books, as Takutis himself, also a championship contender, he heads into the pits for Team Sheba. So I think he's just going to maybe go for maybe one more round, but have to wait and see on that.
Yep, it looks like Lorenzo Turi for Griffin Esports is making an improvement here. It's green on Sector 1, green on Sector 2, going into the last corner coming up, I think, if I'm correct. And here we go. Nice little left-hander, nicely executed into the final start-finish line once again as we go across the line. And is it going to be improvement on tip? Yes, wow, a massive improvement there, going up to P11 after I think it must be a rough first lap around the circuit as we enter the 5-minute warning timer. And Menaclont having a bit of a difficulty on Sector 2, but has improved Sector 1. I don't know if Menno might enter the pits at the end of this lap, or may go through with it. We'll find out just in a moment as we go around this corner. Yep, he's going in. That's what I thought, because looking at the Sector 2 time, it was up by quite a long way. So, but Oliver Taras also abandoning a lap there, having a purple Sector 1 though. That's actually quite impressive there. So everyone has an impressive time in Sector 1, but it seems some of them have a few difficulties in Sector 2. That's the real question. What's happening there for those drivers?
Very hard to tie down through the corners, I think. It's just, the first, the three sectors here have all got very different characters, and it's really easy to maybe, perfect one, but very hard to tie down for another. I think it might be the case. Another thing as well is these track limits as well. It's pretty interesting, though, in regards to the other tracks, where sometimes the white line is, behind the curb. This one's in front of the curb, so sometimes a bit for the eyes like myself that's used to the old track limits, it's a little bit weird to just see them like exploit a little bit, but sometimes you can get a little bit too much though. Right aboard with Matej Micah though, meanwhile he himself has improved, but it's still just 2/10 off from his teammates though. He needs to try and put something out from this lap if he wants to try and get himself ever closer to his teammate and championship rival now. Under 3.5 minutes left to go. Can he pull something here?
Yep, it seems to be a massive improvement there in Sector 2 as we go along ahead into the fast corners here of 26 into 27 once again. Loving this corner. I love how they all execute it perfectly as we go into the final. No, he's abandoning it. Must have been a bit of a awkward final sector there. Oh, there's a purple and green here for Latinen. As we go, the third place driver, could he overtake Micah? No, he's going in as well. This is no front wing. Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, I couldn't see the front wing until now. I didn't realize he lost the front wing. Thanks for pointing out there, Remco. And as we see, a bit of a slip and slide in the final corner there from Zabinski. Still going for it. Could be a good improvement there. P12, is he going to make an improvement on the lap? Going up to P7. The Hyperion driver. Nicely done. And still, lots of work being done by other drivers who are still doing laps. As we see Rozak on a lap, hoping to make an improvement from P4. Making a really good name for themselves around the circuit during qualifying. But will Patrick, where am I going with this? Will Patrick make this all work out in the race as well with strats and everything? I guess we'll have to find out, because quality's not over yet. And here we go for a nice little hot lap around Jeddah on Rosek's point of view.
Here we go. Just needs to navigate through the first sector as well. Very tight here, looking through turns 1, 2, and 3. It's very crucial here to get that exit points though, because you really need to carry through that speed with this very long straight here. And then what follows through is a string of series of corners between turns 4 down to 12. And we're going to see with Patrick Rosak, we've seen here with drivers before, that the fact that these people have managed to improve for the first sector is because they slip it over and he's lost a bit too much. And he's abandoned his time. I don't think he's going to be able to get into that prized podium positions for the grid that he would hope to do. So I think he only has to settle for 4th, but that's going to be pretty good news there for Lucas Murdo and Daras and Dubinski, who they're probably going to have a try and go for their final runs. We'll have to wait and see though, as it's now just about under 60 seconds left to go here for the Saudi Arabian qualifying here, as Menaclont comes out through turn 27. He's doing okay, but it's not quite an improvement. No, he stays in 12 for KKR Esports, and now it's 60-minute tightening down very shortly. See with Oliver Taras though, he's gone purple in sector 1. Can he muster something here for the final 2 sectors to maybe get himself maybe even to the top 3? Have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's looking very strong. A green improvement as well in Sector 2, but still fast in Sector 1. Anything can happen. He can still get the pole position just having 1 purple. As we go into turn 26, going into the entry of turn 27, could Taras keep it up? As we see, nicely done there, nicely executed once again. As we go into the final corner, into the finish straight, going across the line. Is it going to be improvement? First place for Oliver Taras. Amazing lap. Very close indeed. It's now all to play for here, as other drivers are still making a lap. And here we are. Andrzejewski starting a lap around the street circuit. going into, if I'm correct, turn 13. As we go into turn 14, I'm lost for words. That was a great lap by Oliver Taras. That's amazing. Wow.
Almost looked sure for Andrzejewski to maybe get himself pole position, maybe not even need to push. But Oliver Taras came out of nowhere and put that Apex Grand Prix 17 car up into provisional pole position. But now for Andrzejewski, now he needs to try and find 200ths now to make it up. And as well for Micah, maybe within his chance, he needs to find also 2/10 though. See with Latinen though, he improved for the first sector in the last round, but now he's got an even bigger deficit to climb with Taras not getting himself into provisional pole. Have to see here as he going to go heads through turn 27. It's looking green, but it's not quite purple. Have to see for the Finnish driver if he can do anything to maybe catch himself up into the top 3. Let's see for Jase Latinen. Crosses the line. It is into the top 3.
That's so close.
And really tight as well. Wow, that was very close. And Latinen will be very happy with that. But we'll see with Micah though. He's gone purple for the first sector, although yellow for the second sector. If he can pull something up in the third sector, he may be able to reclaim third.
Yeah, Micah, I think went off a little track there. Could he still make an improvement despite having a yellow sector 2? As we go around the final corner, can he make an improvement? Could he reclaim P3 again? We don't know. We're going to go to the final straight. Here we go. Could it be a big improvement? No, yes, it is. It's an improvement. Back to P3 for Matheus Micah. Nicely done there.
Oh, and it was yellow for that second sector that took his pole position chances away, and he'll have to stay with third. But Oliver Taras, though, with a phenomenal pole position. Andrzejewski did all they can muster for his final lap, but not quite enough to string it all together for second place. Matheus Micah, he himself rounds up for the Multiforce Grand Prix drivers in third, with Jase Latinen, the second of the Apex Grand Prix, in fourth. Very good performance for Lucas Murner for Pixelate is in fifth, with Patrick Rosak in sixth for Nexia. Lucas Dylan for KKR Esports in seventh, with Mateusz Jubinski. Good performance for him in eighth for High Period. Giuseppe Sciarcino in ninth for Team Shiba, with Frank Hemming right enough for the top 10 of the first race over. With 11th going to Jesper Eriksson for 0-1, with Lorenzo De Cutis for Team Shiba. Massimiliano Riboli in 13th, with Menno Klont in 14th. Lorenzo Turi for 15th for Griffon, followed by Scott Flack for Overpower in 16th. Turn Lure of Team Iris is in 17th, with Mateusz Kuzucki in 18th, and Van Glen in 19th, with Kasper Mihailak in 20th. 21st will be Thomas Smith, with Raymond Van Zust in 22nd, Wesley Stefano in 23rd, with Alex Gonzalez Green in 24th, Owen Kabil Hasvik for 25th, 100 to 1, and with Carl Magnus Bore in 26th. Matthias Dabrowski in 27th, with Sven de Vries in 28th, with Marcus Christensen 29th, and running off for the grid for today's race is Christus Vilo, who didn't set a lap time.
But yeah, very close margin between first and second place. Is going to be all to play for in race 1. 25 laps around the Jeddah circuit. This is going to be very exciting stuff that's going to be coming up. And you know, Apex GP are, you know, in a threatening position to overtake and overthrow Team Shiba in the Constructors' Championship. As I said, they're only 9 points behind, if I'm correct. Yes, they are. They're 9 points behind. It's going to be very tightly done. I think Team Shiba needs to pick up a lot of pace in race 1, just to, you know, keep up the good points, and maybe, you know, just stay ahead of Apex if they can possibly can. Just seeing the chat as well. Jake Denahan saying, "I'm starting to become a fan of Apex GP," and you know, I don't blame you. That was a really good lap by Oliver Taras as well. That's very impressive stuff, and I really can't wait to see what's going to happen.
That was an extremely fun fight session, I must say, here for commentating here in the Formula Sprint 1, even though it's been my short tenure. It is my second race after all, but that by far was absolutely incredible to see a duel between Multiforce and Apex Grand Prix. They really did give them a run for their money, and really showing that anything can truly happen in a street circuit. And, you know, as much as a comfortable lead as Multiforce has, I'm pretty sure that Apex Grand Prix has put the foot on the door and has announced themselves for contention. And Olivier Taras getting himself up into pole position is all that team needs. And that's going to be absolutely incredible to look forward to. God, I'm absolutely out of breath, Alex, I must say.
I'm kind of out of breath as well. I'm lost for words after seeing that qualifying session. That's one of the closest qualifying I might have seen. I kind of forget what happened last round. I know that the Oates was our winner in race 1 in Japan, which was an amazing drive by the Team Shiba driver. Not so good on the pace this time, but I think it must have been around top 10 in this qualifying session. So they could still get some fair points. They just need to have a really good start, have a good strat as well in their minds, and just keep the consistency up in this 25 lap race that's coming up just in a moment, as everyone's just warming up their race pace, warming up with their racing tyres that they're going to choose from as well.
Quick look for the teams, though, as mentioned before within our first race. As what goes on, we have a look through the different teams and track through their progress throughout their time here in the Formula There's a front wing going missing. But today we're in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I think we're given the task of analysing for Hyperion's charge in Formula Sprint 1 here. So have a look to see how they have been doing on. They've done pretty well, got themselves up into the top 10, and Mateusz Dabrowski, after his no-show back in Japan, though, he has scored points in every race bar the first round in Melbourne. So it's been pretty good for Dabrowski, I must say, to continually to score points. He had the best recorded 7th, so it's been fairly good for him. Dubinsky, he has actually shown himself great form here today with P8, and that indeed has turned his fortunes for the better, shall we say, because apart from that, he's only scored at best 8th back in Melbourne for race 2. But the fact that he's got himself into this position just for race 1 is really, really good for Hyperion, I must say.
Yep. Hyperion, I think this is going to be a big boost for them. Only 22 points this season so far. I think the highest finish came from Dabrowski. I think finishing P7 this season, which was in race 2 in Australia. But I don't think the points differences between race 2 and race 1 is quite margin. So 9 points overall in that one. Race 1, I think their best finish in race 1 was a P13 as well from Dabrowski. They're 1 point behind Team Iris, who are 9th, and followed by 31 points behind Pixelate Rating, who are 8th. So it's a big gap. But I think, if they keep up the good work for race 1 and get some crucial points, I think they might be able to, excel very well, and maybe see, in Spain next round as well. If they keep going, they could be going up there, maybe top 7, top 6. I don't know. It's still very early in the season. I know we're already in round 4, and it's only been 3 races. But we'll just have to see where they are. But going into the championship, as you said, Dabrowski, 17th in the championship. I'm just trying to check if I got my mouse in the right direction. I do. 1 point. Same. I think same amounts of point. No, not same amount of points. Sorry. Just 1 point behind Thomas Smith, who's 16th, and 2 points behind Menopont, 15th, and overall 105 points behind the leading driver, Andrzejewski, who's leading the championship with 119. It looks very, very high hopes for Dabrowski. It's going pretty well. Zabinski at the moment P21 in the championship with 8 points, 2 points behind Murno, who I think is, as we speak, is also racing today as well. I think replacing the absent Janssen Bintz as well, and is only 111 points behind Andrzejewski. So it's still quite close between, out of the top 10. It's still anyone's drivers, anyone's game, and everything. It's great to see a big improvement from both Hyperion drivers today, and I hope they keep it up for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Love to see within these teams that seem to lose their footing a bit early on to really find a rhythm and, be able to capitalize on it. Surely should be a change of assurance here for Hyperion Esports. before the warm-up very shortly, quickly, and just have a quick look through for the Drivers' Championship as it stands to see where everyone stands in a complete top 10 order. With we clearly seen before with Pavel Andrzejewski himself, he's got himself 119 points added for his tally, and with that Multiforce teammate of Micah, that means that again 230 points that is combined together for the teams compared to Team Sheba with 140. That's a 90-point gap in the team's championship. But as it stands now, the fight between teammates, though, Pavel Andrzejewski is the only driver to have won 2 races this season so far, and he's going to be trying to look in that to make it 3 races. And Micah, he himself is trying to make it add to his teammates' tally to make that 2 races for himself. Giuseppe Saracino, though, is the best of the rest with 3rd for Team Sheba with Asen Latinen. He himself's got himself 4th in for this race, so good showings for him. Might be going on for improvements here later on stages of the race. Frank Hemming is a bit of a struggle for him in Jeddah here, but he's still himself got 5th, which is very decent for him. But Oliver Tars, a great show of form for him to get himself into pole position. Could this be the momentum that he needs to change his forwards rounds to push not only him but his team of Apex Grand Prix up to the challenge? Lorenzo De Cutis done fairly well for also for Team Sheba to maintain onto that top two positions there in the team's championship, and he's fairly okay with 7th, but he's going to be hoping to do some more. Patrick Rosak is the best of the KKR esports drivers with 8th, with Lucas Tylen, his teammate, over in 10th. But look at that gap, though. It's fairly close, though. Just about 5 points of a difference between those 2 drivers. And Scott Fallock, meanwhile, in the middle of a KKR sandwich, situated in 9th. So it's been a very competitive championship so far, I must say.
Yes, it has been, despite being absent from Turkey, and you were there at Turkey, of course. So you have the minds of what happened in Turkey. You have the minds of round 1 and round 2. It's been a very exciting season from all those top 10 drivers. I really can't wait to see what everyone else has in store. It's going to be very close down to the wire with both Multiforce GP drivers, very close to each other, and at the moment ruling the Constructors' Championship table with an iron fist, and is going up and up and beyond. And I'm very impressed of what the work they're doing, especially with Micah, who recently is promoted here to the FS1 League after winning the FS2 Championship last year, and Andrzejewski as well. I think staying from last season, if I'm correct, from in FS1, and is pulling all the strings to get it all done once again for Multiforce GP, hopefully becoming back-to-back champions.
Yeah, I've realized over here the graphic here is a bit displayed incorrectly. I've realized Patrick Rosak is not actually KKR, it's Nexium, so my apologies for that. But yeah, as you've mentioned before, very going to be interesting championship though, and with the speed circuit, okay.
Mistakes are made.
Thank you for whoever pointed that out. I absolutely, yes. Thank you very much, chat, for guiding me the correct path. I am forever grateful for your assistance. With that in mind, just about under a minute left of the warm-up session to go, and that means that qualifying, the race 1 will begin fairly shortly. I must say though, Alex, you've had your fair share of racing here in the Jeddah Street Circuit, albeit on a different platform, but still experience nonetheless. What can we expect here for the Formula Sprint 1 grid over that 25-lap race?
Despite having experience from this from another sim, F124 to be precise, hopefully I don't get hate from that. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of close action. Maybe some carnage, if some drivers aren't careful enough, because you got to be very aware on a street circuit, as one famous F1 driver once said. And I think it's going to be very close. This unlike Monaco, there's going to be a lot of overtaking opportunities. Which at some places, especially at some high-speed corners, and a lot of zones. But unfortunately, I don't think they have DRS for this, so it's not going to be much effective. But they're going to have to use most of their push-to-pass deployment to be able to gain that advantage. Maybe at some corner exits, as well as that nice little final corner hairpin. As I think the race is just about to start very soon.
Absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to be all down to push to pass management, I must say. That combinated with strategy added into the mix is gonna be all the reason why this race that we're going to see upon us is going to be probably one of the most important that we see here on the calendar. It is the final hurdle for the street circuits, and then afterwards is pretty much permanent circuit from here on out, right up until Singapore, and that is fairly late into the season as well. So for a lot of these people that are really good on street circuits, they need to like really push as hard as they possibly can to try and get the maximum points available, because it's not going to have another opportunity up until, you know, for another good amount of races. I mean, apart from maybe Canada, but other than that, like a proper street circuit, there's different sort of talents and skill sets that you have to acquire in order to master these. And, you know, for some of them, they'll definitely have to be able to need to take full advantage of those. So the cars are going to be heading onto the grid, and fairly shortly, we're going to have a quick rundown for the starting order shortly.
Just before everyone does the hot formation laps before the start of the race, just looking down in the comments, David now gets my reference. It is from Jolyon Palmer. That is correct. Bonus points for David there, knowing where I got that from. And you know, from earlier, yep, Rozak is Nexium, not KKR. We are aware of that now, and we'll get that fixed. And you know, everyone is rooting for all sorts of different drivers. Like I said earlier, I think someone said they were becoming a fan of Apex Grand Prix, and you know, it's going to be you know, I think it's going to be very close between Oliver Taris and Andrzejewski at the start of this race. Someone's going to have. I think it's going to be based on those two drivers. So one of them needs to get a really good start, otherwise it's going to be one over the other, and it's going to be a big fight between the two, and it's going to be absolutely insane.
A very unique starting grid as well, after which at the start it's a very long run down to that turn 1, 2 and 3, so second place has got very close to be able to capitalize off with a very good start. But now, very shortly, we're going to have a look down through the final running order for today's race. For race 1, Oliver Taris with a phenomenal pole position. He gets himself up into P1 with Pavel Andrzejewski hoping to add another win to his books in second. Mateusz Majka in third, and then Jesse Latin, and that completes row 2. Lucas Murno, fantastic for the Pixlite Racing driver, in 5th, with Patrick Rusak in 6th. That completes for row 3, with Lucas Stylen in 7th, with Giuseppe Saracino in 8th. Frank Hemming for HHB Motorsport in 9th, with Jesper Eriksson for row 5. Lorenzo De Cutis in 11th for Team Sheba, with Massimiliano Ribali in row 6. Menno Klunt for P13, Lorenzo Turi in 14th, with Scott Flack in 15th, and Mateusz Grudowski for 16th. Mateusz Zubinski in 17th for Hyperion Esports, with Ben Glenn. That completes for row 9, with Kasper Michalak in 19th, and Thomas Smith for row 10. Row 11, Tuan Lur and Raymond van Zoet in for 22nd, and then 23rd for Wesley Stefano for MS Performance, and Alex Golazala's green for LEF Auto Racing, row 12. Onkvil Hasvig for 100 to 1 in 25th, with Mazdu Dabrowski, the second Hyperions. That is for row 13, with Marcus Christensen in 27th, with Cosmagnus Bore in 14th row, and then Christopher Svilo in 29th, and Sven de Vries in 30th. And that concludes for the running order of the upcoming race here in the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit.
I think seeing that rundown of names, it's going to be very hard to pick out who's going to bring out the best fight between drivers, especially the midfield as well. Will Oliver Taris be able to defend his P1 position at the start of this race? On you know, in the first opening few laps, and you know, hopefully, you know, if he's able to, he's gonna have to, you know, have a good gap ahead of the Multiforce GP drivers, as they're going to be on their tail this whole race, and they've got to keep it consistent. I think that will be Yassi's standing by to, you know, try and give them the pressure to hold back a bit more as well. I think Yassi might need to get a good start as well to, you know, break up the fight a bit, but we'll see. As we see Sven de Vries, the last driver in the pack, just rolling up behind into the grids, as we slowly, hopefully, but surely, going to get the 5 red lights going off.
The anticipation, it builds. 27 corners a lap. It's the longest that we've had here on the GPVWC calendar. 25 laps awaits for us as the lights start to come on. It's going to be Apex Grand Prix versus Malta Force at the start, and away we go here in Jeddah. Good start there from Tars. He's done absolutely phenomenal there, but the Malta Force drivers are battling out midway through the corner, almost going to be going 3 wide, heading through turn 2 and 3, and Matej Majka, he himself gets himself up into P3, and Jesse Latinen himself almost has a look for it, but not quite. He has to just simmer that back down to 4th, and meanwhile all the cars here are going fairly well, and absolutely no hectics whatsoever, and that is absolutely clean racing here that we see. Actually, we have seen a yellow in sector 1 here. I have to look back and see what's happened there. It's actually been a very big one, but as the action continues on, Oliver Towers the dream start almost a second faster than Andrew Zitsky, and it's going to be just Andrew Zitsky and Micah picking up the pieces.
Yeah, it looks like the top 10 drivers have gone for a very clean start. Very nicely done from everyone. Well played to everyone who kept it clean as possible. There was a yellow flag, which we will hopefully see later on. Latinen still, keeping the pressure on Micah as Yassi's hoping to get a podium in this. So maybe we might see an Apex Grand Prix 1-3, maybe an Apex 1-2. Oh, here's the replay from what happened. It seems we're looking at Carl Magnus Borre as we head into the opening laps here. Let's see what happens here. Oh, going off track there. Oh, there's a big contact there around at the back. I think it was a 100-to-1 driver going into the wall. Yep, there is Marcus Christensen. Has no front wing there. I didn't also see he was also in that carnage. Just looking in the replay as well. I think it was also a Hyperion driver. I think it was Dabrowski. Or Zubinski, oh no, it was Dabrowski, sorry, in behind there as well, making that contact with the 100-to-1 driver. As we see, let's see what happened. Oh, we got pushed. I think you got pushed a bit by Sven de Vries, just behind. That's very unfortunate. I think it was, being a bit too much on the front one, just mistimed it and just went into the back of the Hyperion driver. And now there's going to be lots of places to make up for both of those drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be heartbreaking for them having to head into the pits. In fact, Christensen hasn't tired. That's going to be no, he's actually headed to the pits. So going to have to see if he can prepare for that front wing, though. But meanwhile, for everyone else, though, it's been fairly clean, meanwhile, throughout. But there's still a lot of attrition here in Jeddah. So no position is going to be safe, and you have to make your moves fairly cleanly, as we've just seen from lap 1. Although looking for the lead now, it's about 1 second between Taras and Andrzejczycki. So Taras is pulling away, and 5 tenths between Micah and Andrzejczycki as it stands. But now looking on board here in the mid pack here, it's been fairly spaced out fairly early on. Look at it through the back there. There's Scott Flack trying to make an overtake onto Menno Klont. This is going to be for P13. This is going to go around the outside, and the Messiano Rapal just holds up Menno Klont though. And Klont has gone just a little bit wide. Couldn't be able to hold in. He might actually lose 2 places because of it. God, side by side with Kozlowski. I think he might actually lose that one again. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it looks like Menno Klont wanted to play it safe at that corner. Didn't want to make contact with Flack. And I think it was do or die there, and wanted to play it safe, and it did come at a price. And unfortunately, lost 2 positions in that corner. And it seems Menno Klont seems to be fighting back, trying to fight back in 16th place. I think no. If I'm right, I think this is about to lose another position now. I think that's Zabinski ahead now. Ahead of Menno. I don't think it's updated. Oh no, it has updated. Sorry. As we see the gains and losses, and it seems Glenn's gone down 11 places. I don't know what happened to Glenn there at the start of the race, but Menno Klont, here we go. I think hoping to recover those positions back as soon as he can, as we go around into sector 1, into the nice, very complex corners of 4, 5, and 6. I think if I'm right, as we go into exit turn 12, entering turn 13, and it seems everyone seems to be very clean so far. I don't see any names out there who are close to other drivers at this moment, but it seems a big train is forming here between not Scott Flack, Gazowski and Menno Klont and Thierry just behind, followed by Michalak.
very hard to go side by side and, you know, be able to maintain the pressure onto this track here. So you just need to stay behind it, just pick your timing and then make that overtake and make it as quickly as you possibly can. Lucas Murno, he himself is down to 6th, I believe, having started from 5th, and has got Rusak now on the back tail of it, going to exit out of turn 27. Is going to be able to try and use the slipstream, maybe the push to pass as well if he needs it. But you can just see with how much that exit in turn 27 matters a lot, because it's one of the longest straights on the calendar, and you need to be able to capitalize that as much as you possibly can. And it's going to make that find and overtaking here fairly a bit hard, as I see a yellow in sector 3. We'll probably quick down to that. I think that's Thomas Smith, I think, moving down the order. I'm not entirely sure, but Zabinski, he himself makes an overtake on Lorenzo 30. He promotes himself up into P15. I think that's Van Soot as well, overtaking Mihalek up to 18th, I believe. Very interesting race so far here. Only still lap 4 out of 25.
Yep, it seems Thomas Smith has entered the pits as well. Must have had some damage after that yellow flag in sector 3. Lucas Murno doing really impressive, being P6, you know, just keeping behind very safely on Rozak. Maybe, you know, just going to be waiting a bit to make a move sooner or later. You know, he still has time though. We still got over, I think, 22 laps left for the race. It's going to be a long one, as we know, as we're here on the longest street circuit here on the calendar. Let's see a little replay here of Vin Glenn at the start of the race. I think must have played it safe. As we go into oh my goodness, there's a bit of a car lift there. I think it seems to be a Team Iris and MS Performance car, if I'm right. It was Toon Lua who was being lifted up, I think, as we go into the corner here. As seems to be very just lost it there. Unfortunately, being lifted up by number 27. That's Wesley Stefano. Very bit of a ballerina move that is. And let's see what happened here with Thomas Smith. He seems to have a few drivers behind as we go around turn 27. A bit of contact by the LAF driver. I don't know who that was. It was one of the LEFs.
Sven de Vries.
Sven de Vries. It seems like it. And unfortunately, that just made it even worse as well. Losing the rear wing. No, you got to be really careful when reversing out. Reversing on a street circuit. You know, you don't want to make any accidents. And unfortunately, Thomas Smith, that's race 1 over for him. First DNF of the day, which is really unfortunate.
Okay, Julian Palmer of GPVWC. Okay, I understand. 20 laps to go on the circuit, where you always have to be alert, as you've seen multiple times here with Lur, Smith, and Christensen many times over. So again, just need to be very careful there as Torres goes a little bit sideways here. Might allow for Andrzejewski to capitalize. Looking here for the tire compounds as well. Everyone's going to go for the softs and possibly will move on to the hards in the closing stages of the race. So they're going to try and push as much as they possibly can to get as many positions as they can, and then hopefully towards the end of the race put onto the hards and be conservative as much as they possibly can. So gonna see how for everyone else that works out. I see a few of the runners actually from 27, 28, 29. Those are the people that have already pitted. So they have already pitted onto the hards. So everyone has started on the softs actually. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, we do have a few on hards, but I think that's because they pit very early on due to damage on their car, and you know, they had a pretty unfortunate start due to bad timing, bad, you know, wrong time, wrong place. There's a yellow in sector 1 there as well. I don't see anyone going down the ladder. I don't think it's too serious yet, unless we see something in the replay later. As we see Lucas Murno pressuring Alex Rozak as well, trying to make the move soon for P5. Maybe it's going to happen in the straight as we go into turn 6, and a big old turn 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very interesting corner. This is one of my favorite and complex corners of the circuit as well. You've got to be very spot on here, otherwise one mistake and you're going to be into the wall as we head into turn 13. But yeah, Lucas Murno, P6, very strong so far, very consistent, and hoping to make a move soon. But it looks like to be very strong in sector 1 though, as we saw. Now there's a bit of a gap growing behind between the two drivers of 5th and 6th. We see Thailand as well, P7 behind, as well as Hamming, P8 just in the distance. So I think we've got a bit of a fight for P5 coming up very soon.
He's done very quick as well. I believe he's about 3/10 faster than Patrick Russak, so it's done fairly well. But meanwhile, up in the top 4, they've been fairly consistent between each other, although Tyrus's gap has definitely closed down to about 7 tenths now. It is still fairly manageable, but Micah is still on the standby as well, so potentially to maybe have an attack on the Apex Grand Prix driver is going to be something on the cards. And for Latinan, he's definitely, well, he's off to the side, but he's definitely there to pick up the pieces, as you see him here with Team Sheba. Now it's Dicutis now against his teammate of Saracino, so it's going to make an overtake problem. Need to make it as quickly as you possibly can. Don't go sideways too much throughout the course here. Heading down for turn 1, it's going to be very clean for Lorenzo, and he's exactly what he needs, not to put too much pressure onto the tires. Up into P9 for Team Sheba, swap positions.
Yeah, I think that must have been a team call, that was, because I wouldn't back down at the corner like that, but seeing Lorenzo taking that corner very easy on his teammate, I think that must have been a team call on there. There's a bit of a spin there by Ericsson. Oh, very close to the wall, but luckily managed to save it. Very good recovery there. And I was just about to say, I think one of the drivers that was just going down the line after that yellow flag that we just saw earlier was Michalak, just going down. I think now down to P29 in the pits as well. As we see, as we continue, yes, with Ericsson, very nice recovery there, nicely done to avoid the wall. Oliver Taras, as we see, only less than a second ahead. There's going to be a bit of a fight going on soon. Is that because of tyre wear? Is that because of there could be difficulties with those tyres? I think it is going to be almost that time for tyre change soon. I don't know how long the tyres can go on for, especially depending on how drivers work, how they manage the tyres. As we see, it's very, very close for Andrzejewski to make a move very soon. The pressure is on for Oliver Taras, but the question is, can he keep it? Can he keep P1?
Christensen's retired. He's going to have a look on the replay here to see what's happened to the 100-to-1 driver. He's coming up with the driver. Oh, he's lost it. And he loses the wheel.
And the engine as well, as you see that as well, burning up. Very unfortunate there. Like I said, you gotta be very precise on where to make those corners. There's Meadow Clont here, turning into turn 1 and 2.
Just goes wide.
And there's the little kink in turn 3 coming out there. Seems to be going pretty well. Made a good recovery. Here's Michalak. I did mention earlier. Which corner is that? I think that's 16, 17, 18, I think. Oh, going off a bit there, but seems to make a good recovery. Not any noticeable damage just yet. We might see it any second soon. And oh no, the replay's done. There's nothing for Michalak there, so.
Yeah, there's so many people that just sort of struggling, but luckily the good thing is whenever they make these mistakes, they've got the run-up to be able to recover. But as we've seen here before with Christensen, you can just, if you lose it on the wrong time with there's no runoff, you've got nowhere to go. And not only will that put your race over, but also your engine, which is, a very big blow here over the course of the season. So it's something that these drivers really need to take a calculated risk to be very careful at here, as I think we can slowly see that soft tires are slowly starting to die down. So that means we can expect some people to be a bit more cautious and a bit more patient, but also maybe the pit window to open fairly soon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be around maybe lap 10, lap 11. People are going to be starting to go on hard tyres, those ones on softs, of course. As there will be others who might go back onto the soft tyres later during the race, as they got onto the hard tyres pretty early, as they were, like I said, due to damage, they had to change the tyres as well as fix the damage on their car. And here we are as well on the live feed. Micah just behind Andrzejewski. But if Micah, do you think Micah's faster than Andrzejewski? Do you think there could be maybe a team call for a driver swap here?
I think they're fairly both similar on pace, in my opinion, but if it doesn't work for Andrzejewski after a couple flaps, I would say maybe they'll swap and maybe have a little of a fight, and if it doesn't work, then maybe they'll swap the places back. That's probably what I'll do in Multiforce's position, but I have to see, because there is a chance that maybe Andrzejewski can come around!
It's gone!
I think he's out! No, he's reversing! He's surely gonna get the position back! Yes, he is! He's still within point square position, but that's a big blow for the Multiforce driver! Oh my word!
Oh, that's going to be a big hit in the championship, both drivers and constructors, as he's going to be fighting it off Saracino. I'm just looking at the little replay there. He just kind of lost it in that corner. Must have overcooked it too much. Now Oliver Taras now has a big gap ahead of him, 2.8 seconds, going up to 3 seconds. I think there's a bit of trouble ahead as well. I think, you know, a bit of a heart attack for everyone ahead behind Andrzejewski. Try not to crash into him, but it looks like it's going to be a long, hard evening for Andrzejewski to get those positions back. As we see the replay here, let's see what happened. As we see from his point of view, I think he must have lost it in that corner. Yeah, too much curb. Oh, yeah, way too much curb. But very, very lucky to not have seem to have made any damage. So very, very lucky driver there. That's amazingly good. Saving that is from the driver.
He is
so very
lucky.
close.
He is so lucky. Also, Latinen and Micah as well are also just as lucky. Andrzejewski is also lucky that he didn't lose his rear wing and that he merely just about avoided it. But he's also lucky that Micah and Latinen as well made the evasive action. Otherwise, that would have ruined 3 drivers out of the race. And see there with Andrzejewski, he's now in 24th now. So, wow, 50 laps to go. Is there anything more that the Multiforce driver can do here?
Yeah, I think just seeing that replay again, my heart just skipped a beat again. Just seeing how close the gap is for Latin and Micah to go through to avoid contact. It could have been a big mess if, you know, anything bad would have happened there. And it looks like a lot of cleanup is now going to happen to Andrzejewski, easily taking 23rd place over Sven de Vries. Lucas Murno, P6 still, as we see. I think Feiner must have made the move earlier, or something like that. But as we see, there's now a little shift in the ladder. Micah going up to P2, and now have to close that gap again behind head, who's with Taras ahead. And it looks like some people are also taking the pits as well. Yeah,
the pits now. Yeah.
It seems it's now that time of the race that people are going to be starting to pit for new tires, because it's going to be strat calling for everyone. Who's going to go in first? Who's going to go in next? It's going to be the hard part of the race. Well, the maths part of the race. And there seems to be
wait,
that's Rozak.
Next off. What?
Patrick Rozak's off. There seems to be a wheel missing.
Did they collide? Did the Nexium drivers collide in the pit box?
I'd say it must have been a pit entry, because the pit entry is pretty you know, a bit of a complex one. Let's see what happened here. Patrick Rozak is going off the track here, going into the pit lane, and no, he seems to be fine. So it's not the pit lane. It seems to be a big accident. Here we go into the.
What?
It seems to be quite fine. Seems to be quite fine in the box.
Did they collide?
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Big shot! Oh no! From one of the 0-1 drivers. That's going to be a bit of a word from the stewards there. Oh no! That was a very violent shunt as well. Oh my goodness me! That was very. Oh no! You got to be very careful in the pits. You know, this is why we have these pit speed limits as well, so stuff like that won't happen. I think we've got to be a little slow as I would call for that. But that's very bad there from I think that was someone saying it was who was it, Ericsson, I think. Yeah, Ericsson is Ericsson who was there. As we see Lorenzo the Tutis now going to the pits, changing the tires as well. And I think I'm lost for words for what happened now. I've never seen an incident like that in my life. So
I know this isn't the time for comedy, but I think Ericsson hit us.
That's a good one.
Andrzejewski though, Andrzejewski's very lucky that the fact that he managed to pit just before the pit window, but he's still just about a lap behind. So that means that he's himself on track P14. So it's a good recovery for the Polish driver, for himself to get some points. And you know, as the way it stands, he's got himself a good chance for a reverse for pole position for the second race as well.
Yeah, it seems going for that pit stop early on those tires for Andrzejewski, it seems to be uplifting him a bit. You know, he was right at the back at 23rd place, and now look at him go P14. If I'm right, top 15 is the points. Yes, I am correct. So, you know, already in the points already. Now it's time for the last to first challenge now for Andrzejewski after that big little wobble there, after that big old spin, having too much curb. Lucas Murno still going strong P5, as we can see on our screens right now. Still behind, excuse me, Lucas Weilen, the KKR driver there. And there's Micah going into the pits. Hopefully something relevant as well won't happen again.
Well.
Latinen's going in behind as well. It looks like a shot that he's going to go for as well as he goes into his pit box. Playing it safe, nicely done. And it looks like other drivers as well going for new fresh tyres as we enter the hard tyre era. As oh, there could be an oh no, I thought he was going to overtake Micah there, but no, I just realised Micah was way up ahead there. My bad.
You're good. You're good. Latinen himself, he comes off into P6 though, and that's just split between Micah and Latinen with Hans Hust in the split between those two. I don't think he has yet to pit yet, so as soon as he comes into the pits, they're going to be on for 4th and 5th, as Flack and Thailand, they themselves also do need a pit. So Taras in a pretty good lead as it stands. If you'd be able to maybe push a bit within those worn tires, I think he might be able to pull off this overcut, but have to wait and see though. For the results here. Micah and Latinen know that they're on a mission here, so let's see here.
Yeah, I'm just looking in the chat, at the live chat, people saying Lucas Murno, Edward Hunter saying Lucas Murno really ought to be a full-time driver, and I gotta say, I couldn't agree more. You know, he's only been here since Japan, replacing the absent Janssen Bintz. I don't know why he's absent, but he's doing really well with the Pixlite car. Very strong pace and everything, and is doing and gets my high praise being a reserve driver and everything. As we see Oliver Taras now taking the pits as well, and there's Lucas Dylan as well. So it's going to be quite close, I think, there as well, with Micah just behind, as well as Scott Flack. I think Scott Flack is due to pit for new tyres. So as we just see now, there's Micah. I think it could be a change here.
Yeah, I think he's outdone him.
Yep.
He has.
Here comes Micah.
New race leader now, Matthias Micah now. I think Yasin Latinen will also.
He's still ahead. He's still ahead. Oh no!
No, he isn't. No,
very close.
Barely. Sorry, my bad.
Oh my goodness me.
Close. That was very close there for Taras now, but now Taras.
I was very confused. I couldn't see what was going on there.
Oh my god! I almost thought that he had it beat. But thing with Taras now is that he's got just not quite optimal temperature as much as Micah has. So Micah's just got about 1 lap to make it done. He hits the wall just a little bit though. You can see in the background, and maybe that might lose his chance. But I have to wait and see though. Still at 14 out of 25. It's very exciting though, Alex. I am losing my breath here.
Yeah, I think Taras needs to warm up those tires after just coming out of the pit lane, whilst Micah already has some experience on those tires already and have maybe warmed up. So I think Micah has that upper hand here when it comes to those tire management. And it's going to be very close here. Scott Fleck still leading the race, must be beaming with himself being in the lead at the moment, but still needs to pit, of course. Still on those soft tires, I think hard tires there. I can't see properly. There we go, thank you. Hard soft tires. So yeah, Scott Fleck still needs to pit and change those tires when he can. I think any time soon. But very nicely done by Scott Fleck, holding up P1. Just kissing the wall there in the final corner, but very nicely consistent. Still going out, so he must have managed them very well. So big thumbs up for Scott Flack for very well time management. As we see him going into exit turn 2, going into the turn 3, little turn 3 left-hand corner there. But yeah, I think he's doing pretty well with those tires.
Taras is catching up though. He's managed to gain about, I think it was 7/10 in the last lap though, so it is clear that those softs are really evidently worn, and I think if he doesn't pit soon, it's going to be an inevitability that Taras will make an overtake onto Flag or Micah, as we see for them to still dueling for that second and third place. In fact, Taras has managed to pull away a bit to Micah. It's about 1 second now. But Andrew Zitsky, though, a little bit of the best winner, though. He himself has got himself up into 10th after all the pit windows has been more or less have taken place. So he's done absolutely great to push the hards as much as he possibly can. But now he's on to a different mission now, and that is to conserve them and see them to the end of the race. So that's going to be on Andrew Zitsky's books now at the moment.
Yeah, very nicely done by Andrzejewski. Top 10 after pitting quite early, I think, after that little accident that he had. As we see, and as you said, yeah, Oliver Taras making a nice big gap now in front of Micah. Has the pace as we go into, almost 10 laps left, and also very quickly catching up to Scott Flack. So I think Scott Flack might needs to pit very, very soon, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of a awkward situation between the two. Latner's overtaken Micah. What's happened here? It's side by side as we go into the final straight. It seems he's going to be touching behind of Lassinen as we go into the final head straight. We're going to go into turn around. They're side by side. They're touching. They're kissing each other, and we go into turn 1, and it seems Micah. Oh, he's lost it in turn 1 and lost a lot of time there. That's really unfortunate. And it's going to be still taken on P4. Oh dear, there must have been the racing line difference there between both drivers. That's pretty unfortunate by both. As we see the replay, as we see what's happened.
Kiss.
They've been kissing each other. I'm sorry.
Oh, Micah's gone. I hit the wall, and that would allow for Latin to be able to catch up. If he hit it hard enough, he might have a trouble with the suspension. But let's see here with Micah now. You could just see here with... Oh, wow. That is a very big hit. And we have to look here for the steering wheel. It's not... It is just a little bit.
It's not straight. I must say, Mike is pretty lucky to not lose a wheel there and be out of the race. Yeah, and I agree with Ed Hunter in the chat. A bit of a mistiming there going into that corner. But I gotta say... it's going to be, recovering now. And as we see Scott Flack going to be overtaken here by Taras. I think he's going to let him through with no problems here, as he's on very old tyres. There we go. There goes... there goes Flack, and I don't think he doesn't want to compete against Taras with those really worn out tyres. And there goes Scott Flack. Very nicely managed as well on those tyres, and a high praise for me. 17 laps. On soft, so I'd say that's pretty impressive. As he says, a quick hello to Thomas Smith in the garage there.
Oh my word! The thing is with Scott though is that he's done 17 laps on it, so that means that he's got the remaining few laps remaining on hards. So he needs to push like a monster on these hards, otherwise he's not going to be able to make a move here. As we see here with Raymond Velsant, he's going to get himself up into 14th as he tries to overtake Menoclant here, navigates for turn 1, turn 2, goes a little bit sideways as they both collide. He loses that rear end, but they're still going to be going side by side at the exit of turn 3. Heading for 4 now, Menoclant just gets the car in front through turn 4, little bit of a nudge, but Clant still gets ahead.
Yep, very nicely well defended by Menno Klon. Van Zeeuw still can be in this fight. We still got a lot of time left until the end of the race, until we reach the final time of the race. Lucas Murno, as we can see, still P5 and still hasn't moved or lost the position. Very strong race there. The Tutors gaining 5 places in this race, so very nicely done by the Team Shiba driver. And Owen Kahalsvik gaining 7 places, but still outside the point. Oh, this is for P3 as well. Lucas Filen racing against Micah, and it seems Filen still was Filen still ahead? I think he was.
I think
no. Filen's made the overtake. Sorry. Yep, I'm just looking in the replay, and it looks like Filen's made the overtake. I think Micah's having some difficulty with the car with having the damage on that right tire after as we can see the wheel is not straight and must be having some really bad difficulties there, and it could be soon Murno's turn to overtake Micah. This is going to be a bit of a dent to both Multiforce GP's championship and also both drivers in the drivers championship. This is going to be like I said, this race it has a lot of action, and I'm not wrong.
going to be a fairy tale here for Thailand and for Murno, and be able to pick up the pieces from what the Malta first driver has unfortunately got nothing to do but just to limble on to the finish. For Micah, I think it's just damage control from here point and out, and see if he can able to just at least outscore Andrzejewski in the larger championship fight here. But now riding aboard with the Brazilian, now he's so behind Micah, but just with that steering input, he's got much more smoother inputs than Micah has, because he's got less of a struggle on that suspension in comparison to the Polish driver here. So it's only going to be a matter of time before we see an overtake onto the Malta first driver in a very short few minutes, and using the advantage of the slipstreams is surely going to happen, Alex.
Yeah, it's going to be happening anytime soon. I think he's going to be sticking onto that slipstream of Matheus Micah's as we go into turn 26 and coming up to turn 27, the big final corner here. And it looks like he's going very, very close behind him. And we also see Saracino not so far behind. So I think it's going to be it's going to be very difficult for the last remaining laps for Micah, retaining some positions as soon as he possibly can. Here we go. Oh, nearly going into the back of Micah as we head into turn 1. Nicely done by Murno. No difficulties there. A bit of a touch there as we go into turn 2. Exit turn 2, going to the turn 3, and Murno making it look easy, and now officially gained 1 place in this race.
Very good there for Murno. Up into the top 4. It's a very prized position. He tries to maybe hunt down for Thailand, but I'm sure he'll be fairly happy enough with P4, which I believe it is actually their best results since Pixelate's best results since Suzuka round 1, I believe. No, round 2 in Turkey. My bad. But for Murno though, it's been really phenomenal for the Brazilian, I must say. So. Hats off to him. He gets my driver of the day, I suppose.
Yeah, Murno's been doing pretty good as a reserve driver, and I think he's going to get many phone calls maybe later this season from maybe other teams, or maybe a nice offer from Pixelate at the end of the season, depending how Riboli and Bintz does in the remainder of the season once Bintz has returned. I didn't hear any updates regarding Bintz or anything, but yeah, very high praise for Murno in this race overall, as we see the shooters now catching up to Micah, as well as I think Hamming's just about 5 seconds behind, but so hopefully Micah at the end of the race will have a bit of breathing space as he's about to fight the tutors any moment soon. Maybe at the start of this lap, maybe at the end of this lap. But you know, time's running out here for Micah to defend those spaces. As we just see Hamming just in the background there, going very strongly ahead. And I think Hamming might have to defend Andrzejewski, who's on a strong charge to get back up to the podium.
Absolutely. See though with Andrzejewski and Micah, they're definitely going to be tracking each other's progress, because as much as they are teammates, they want to see how much of that deficit is going to close down. It is 8 points at the moment as it stands, but I think if the points happen as the way that they do, oh boy, I need to do math. I think Micah is in the lead, I believe, no, they tie in points, I think. Yeah, they tie in points. No, they don't tie in points. No, it's down to 2 points. It's down to 2 points if the way it stands between Andrzejewski and Micah. But if it furthers down more, that deficit just grows and grows. So that's why Andrzejewski's hoping to try and make the overtake onto Hamming, and that's why he's hoping for Oates trying to make a quick overtake onto Micah as well in the remaining 5 laps. So it's a bigger championship fight ahead here in the closing stages of the first race here in Saudi Arabia.
Yep, as we see the tutors now just going around the back of Micah. Very late move around the inside. Oh, and he closes Micah into the wall. Oh, I must have thought he had enough space ahead to close it down. As we see, you know, they're both fighting for it. Micah's just trying to go around the inside, but I don't think Micah has the speed with the damage of the car that he has at the moment. So Lorenzo the Tutors is going to be comfortably keeping P5. There's going to be a bit of words from stewards, I think, from that final corner incident. So very unfortunate there for Micah losing another place. But, you know, it could be a bit of a breathing space now, as, you know, Hamming is just over 3-4 seconds behind him. So hopefully Micah will, keep this P6 for the rest of the race, and hopefully no more blood will be spilled for the Multiforce team.
That's more damage that Micah can't afford, though, because he came off the worst of it after hitting the wall. So that's going to mean the suspension's even more worse than it was before, and that means his times are going to be even slower now. Takutas, very controversially, up into fifth, which is what Team Sheba really needs in the longer form of the championship. But you gotta feel for Micah now. So that seconds, though, for like 3 seconds between himself and Hamming now, is that gonna close down even more? I wonder.
It varies on the lap times between Micah and Hamming. As we see now, the differences between all the drivers, Hamming is 0.5 half a second behind. That's pretty impressive. That's quite fast. I don't know. And as we see now, Oliver Tarras very comfortably ahead. It seems Latinen's also closing the gap, 1.6 seconds behind. There's Frank Hamming there, very close to Micah. Going to be making that move very, very soon. It could be making it at this final, this start-finish straight. Unless I think he might be keeping it safe. Oh, here we go. Could be an opportunity here as we go into turn 1, making it look easy once again. Micah, having a lot of difficulties with all this damage that he has, but I don't think DNF is not an answer for the driver, as points is going to be very, very valuable for both drivers and for the team itself. As now, both, I think there could be a team call here for driver swap very soon, as we're in the last 4 laps of the race. I'm losing my English. I'm forgetting what I'm speaking now. This has been a bit of a insane race that we've had today. It's amazing, very amazing.
It's going to be the first race since round 2 in Istanbul Park where Multiforce does not score themselves onto the podium. In fact, I think it's going to be their overall worst result of the season, with 7th and 8th. Last time they finished out with Andrzejewski back over in also round 2 in Istanbul. But that's about the highest as they're going to be able to finish as the swap happens, and there's not much that Micah can do. He sees himself as championship contention all gone away from suspension after suspension problems, and you can just see he's just very struggling to keep the car onto the track. But his best hopes now is to just try to bring it home. He's got that 10-second gap between himself and Sargio, so if it made sense, he might be able to just pull off with P8. Oh, someone's off.
It seems to be a yellow. I think it was Turi. I think Turi lost a few places. I did see a yellow flag there. I'm not 100% sure who it was, but an update for the lead, Tarras and Latinen. I just saw it being just less than a second, just for a few moments here. As we see, let's see what happened in the replay. Let's see. Yeah, it was Turi. As I just saw a little moment happen on the ladder. For the Griffin Esports driver. Let's see what was there a bit. Oh no! Oh, that's just the wrong place at the wrong time for Scott Flack. That's really unfortunate. Oh, this is not a race for overpower tonight. This is very unfortunate. Scott Flack was having a very great race, and his from his point, that was just really bad timing.
He didn't.
So I see that nowhere to go for the overpowered driver. I think that's going to be an incident in the end, because both drivers just lost control, and yeah, that was as we see Scott Flack into the pits, coming out of the pits with a fresh new front wing as we head into the final 3 laps of the race.
His monster stint that he did in the early parts of the race, it just maybe managed to be able to hold the tires for so long, is not going to be rewarded here out of sheer misfortunes there. That's really bad. See if the things turn better for him in the second race, but it was very good for Flack though. He's put on probably one of his best Formula Sprint 1 performances today. Honestly, with how well he managed the tires in such a quick and fast circuit that at Jeddah. But looking back here onto the grid, it's closing stages now. Just about 2 laps left to go here. Tarras has managed to lead from the start to now with a bit of hiccups on the way, but he still holds on to the lead fairly comfortably ahead of teammate Latinen. But Latinen himself is going to be about under challenge from Thailand, and that's about 8/10 now, so it might close up even further. So what could be an Apex 1-2 might not be a 1-2 anymore, could be a 1-3 if Thailand might be able to make a move very soon.
Yeah, it looks like Hamming is also going to be maybe under pressure from Andrzejewski on just under a second. It's still, it's still kind of changed from just over a second to under a second, as we see on the live ladder here. And there we are, Andrzejewski just behind the HGP driver, who's currently 6th place, currently doing very well for the team at the moment, and the Oates, I think, is still very comfortably in 5th place with no pressure from any of the other drivers behind him. But I think it's going to be all going down to the final wire between Thailand and Latinen. As we see, it's still, still very close between all 3 drivers as well. Maybe a fight for 1st place might be coming up very, very soon, as they're both very, very close to each other. I think Thailand seems to be... Oh no, Thailand's not very close. It's just updated me now. Thank you very much. Yeah, it seems to be a close one between those 3 drivers, Thailand, Latinen, and Taras. And I really can't wait to see what's going to happen in the sprint race with the reverse grid starting to appear.
Yeah, just going to be interested to see how we've seen this chaos in just only the first race now, as Gazowski going to try to make a move for P10 onto Ericsson now, down for the inside of turn 27. A little bit of a wheel tap in the back there, but Gazowski just about manages to fend off from Ericsson to get onto P10, but Ericsson will have that slipstream though to be able to reclaim P10, and he does so going side by side, and maybe with the outside line for turn 1. If he has enough speed, he'll be able to do it. No, he doesn't. Switchback maneuver though from Ericsson, and it's a good attempt, but Gazowski can foresee it happening, and he positions it correctly up into 10th. Oh, they're still going side by side at the exit of turn 3. But Gazowski, I think, just about holds it off from Ericsson. Really phenomenal there. Nicely
done by the Nexium driver, Matus Gazowski. Now P10, Oliver Taras, out as we're on to the final lap of the race. I think he's almost done. You can almost sigh of relief, Oliver Taras, as we go into the final few corners. As we see, it's the fast left and right hander of turn 22, 23, 24. As we go into 25 and 26, it's going to be very, very close for a very impressive 1-2 finish for both Apex GP drivers. I'd say take a bow. The chain is broken once again from Multiforce GP. A 1-2 for Oliver Taras and Latinen. God save the king. God save Oliver Taras for the English driver. Nicely done. Nicely clean. Well done.
29 races of trying for the Formula Sprint 1, and he's finally managed to cultivate it with a race win here, and Oliver Taras will be very happy to have been named a Formula Sprint 1 race winner. A very well-deserved achievement for him. Meanwhile, down the further back, Desmond O'Connor is going to try and swing round the outside for turn 27 to make one final move, and it's catastrophe on the final sector. I think that might be someone's front wing off. Is that Metaclon's front wing off? It is, and he loses the front wing, which should have been P12. It's now demoted down to P14, and that has allowed free positions for Massimiliano Rivali and Lancist. But Clant and Turi, though, come off as the worst winners. Turi, I think, just about misses out on a chance for points here in the first race. And yeah, he does. Misses out by 1 point. And Wesley Stefano will happily take that accolade. What a very hectic race, though. And Oliver Taras celebrates among his peers and among the team as well. It's Apex Grand Prix's best ever result this season with the 1-2. And what used to be a joke everyone has now turned to congratulate him. The English driver will be very, very happy with that, and cultivates a very happy first race here in Jeddah with Oliver Taras in the lead. Jesse Latinen in second would make it an Apex Grand Prix 1-2, exactly what they need to put their charge on fold to Multiforce. Lucas Stylen, really good for the KKR Sports driver. He's in third with Lucas Murno, phenomenal from the Brazilian here on his reserve contract. He's in fourth for Pixelate. Best result since Turkey round 2. Lorenzo De Cudas, the best of the Team Shiba drivers, in fifth with Pedro Adjavitsky. He's managed to recover fairly well after his spin early on. He finishes in sixth with Frank Hemming in seventh after picking up the pieces from Mateus Maika, who lost his suspension twice to finish over in eighth. Giuseppe Saratino would make it a double Team Sheba top 10 with Mateusz Kozłowski, the best of the Nexium drivers, over in 10th. Followed for that, for 11th place, it is Jesper Eriksson. After his collision, he finds himself over in 11th for 01 Esports. Massimiliano Ribali in 12th for Pixelate Racing. Raymond Van Sust for MS Performance in 13th with Menocont. After that performance, all the best you can do is P14. Wesley Stefano, the second of the MS in 15th with Lorenzo Duri. Pretty decent from, but what could have been in P16th. Ben Glint in 17th, the second of the HGPs. Mateusz Zubinski in 18th for Hyperion with Alex Gonzalez Green, the best of the LEF Auto Racing drivers in 19th, with Owen Phil Hasvik, 100-1 driver in 20th. 21st, Tuan Lura for Team Iris with Carl Magnus Bora makes it a Team Iris 21-22. Sven de Vries in 23rd with Scott Flack, unfortunate for him, rounds off for the finishers in 24th. The DNF's been Dabrowski for 25th, Christopher Vilo, he finishes but a lap down in 26th. Patrick Rosvac in 27th with Kasper Michalak 28th, and Marcus Christensen 29th, and Thomas Smith in 30th. So about 5 retirements already in race 1 for 25 laps, but 17 laps awaits for us in the second race, and what looks to be very exciting here for race 1 means that it's going to be all the more adrenaline inducing for race 2. But until then, we'll take a very short break here, and we'll be back for more Formula Sprint 1 action. Welcome back to race 2 here for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix in Formula Sprint 1. We've got confirmation here from the broadcast team that Saracino is going to be starting on pole position here for race 2. Going to be a shorter distance for Saracino himself to be able to hold on to that lead. But the question is how he'll be able to do it after the hectic scenes that we've seen here in just race 1. It's going to be interesting to see what awaits for us here in race 2.
Yeah, good for Saracino. Nice drive from him and his teammate Lorenzo Tutis. Nice drive for both of them, of course. It's going to be, if Saracino keeps this up, maybe win this race. It could leave a massive dent to both Multiforce GP drivers, as he's not far off in the championship with only 83 points and 36 points behind but the top. So it could be anyone's game. Still, he's just got to get that good start. I think there's no mandatory pit stops for this one. It's just all out warfare for this one. So I it's going to be really, really fun to watch.
Thing with Saracino as well is that he also similar to what we've seen with Taras to get his first win this season. Saracino has been looking for that first win as well, but by sheer consistency and well-placed positions onto the grid, the best result that he's done is actually third back in round 1 in Suzuka. So to cap it off with maybe even a win or even a P2 would put all those points to be able to make a very good charge up ahead, especially with Micah after dropping points from his accidents early on. It'll be good to see if Saracino might be able to put something up here. And as you've mentioned before, 17 laps here, no mandatory pit stops this year. So it's going to be either an all-out hard tire war or going to be very strategic calls here in this Jeddah street circuit here. But Saracino has got a lot of himself to do, because as much as he does have to defend from not only who's in P2, but also with the top performances that we've seen here in qualifying, Multiforce and Apex will certainly be looking to insert themselves into this fight for the race win, among others as well.
Yeah, I think after that really rough patch that Multiforce GP has gone through for in race 1, they're gonna really want to have the top points for this one, just to have that big recovery after what happened. With Andrzejewski having that big spin and losing a lot of places, and Matus Micah having that big damage after mistiming that turn, if I'm correct, on turn 23, 24, and unfortunately had a really bad damage to the car and had to take it easy on the car and lost a lot of speed on the straights. And it looks like very, very soon the formation lap's about to start as everyone's lining up for race 2. And as we see, everyone getting ready. And here we go. I'll leave it to you with the grid.
Thank you very much, Alex. The starting grid here confirmed with Saracino, who started in 9th. He'll be starting on for pole position here with Mateusz Micah in 2nd. See what he can climb up from his bad luck over in race 1. Frank Hemming himself will be in 3rd with Pavel Andrzejewski, championship leader, in 4th. Lorenzo Cutis for Team Shiba in 5th, behind for Saracino, with Lucas Murno in 6th. That will be for Lucas Dylan in 7th with Jesse Latinen. He's going to be the front leading of the Apex drivers, with Oliver Taras' teammate just behind in 9th, with Mateusz Grozowski in row 5. Jesper Eriksson in P11 with Massimiliano Ribali in row 6, with the Raymond Van Zust in 13th, and Menno Klont that will complete row 7. Wesley Stefano in 15th with Lorenzo Turdi in row 8, with Ben Glenn in 17th, and Matthias Subinski would be for row 9. Alex Gonzalez Green in P19 and Onkville Halsvig that will complete the 10th row on the grid. And then outside the top 20, Turn Lure in 21st with Carl Magnus Borg in row 11. Sven de Vries in 23rd with Scott Flack. Fortunate for him, but we'll have to start for row 12. Mateusz Dabrowski in 25th with Christopher Filo would complete for row 13, with Patrick Vusak in 27th with Kasper Michalak. That would be for 28th. And then Marcus Christensen for 29th. And then finally rounding off for the top, the entire grid, Thomas Smith. And he will be starting up from the back in that overpowered car. And that will conclude for the 30 cars grid upcoming for race 2 of this race. 17 laps ahead. It's going to be interesting to see how we see here. There's going to be a mixture of strategies here. Not everyone's going to be on the same compound and compared to race one. See a mixture of people in the softs, see a mixture of people in the hards. Are the people in the softs going to aim for a pit stop, I wonder? And for the people in the hards, how long are they able to hold on to those tires for? And the question I have, though, Alex, is which one's more an advantage? Which one has the bigger advantage?
I would say those on soft tires, they've got to really manage them very, very well. Despite it being 17, it's going to be with it being a 17-lap race. The big outstanding person who managed those tires really well was Scott Flack, who managed it really well in race one and managed I think pitted in lap 17, lap 18 around that time. As we see, all the drivers just lining up. But yeah, it's going to be all about management. It's all going to be about not pushing too hard in the opening laps, and just keep them nice and not too worn until the final laps of the race. So we just see the last car coming up, and we're going to see the 5 red lights coming up very, very momentarily.
Been an exciting race one here for 25 laps. 17 laps are going to wait for us here for the second race of the Jeddah Street Circuit here. Saracino starts on pole, and we're underway here. It's actually great start for Micah. He's actually got the lead up ahead as they head for turn one. It's a dream start for the Multiforce driver. He's got exactly what he needs. Coming up ahead of Saracino. What he needs.
Oh no!
And he's lost his front wing, and Artuzinski has once again dropped down places, and that's unfortunate there. The second time happens to him.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. It was a bit of a messy exit of turn 1 and turn 2, and everyone's like slowing down. Everyone's slowing down.
Oh, look, there's Murno. He's slowing down.
Oh no, Murno's got no front wing there. I think Andrzejewski got very, very lucky, keeping all of the wings on his car at bay. Very unlucky for Lucas Murno, having a really, really great race in a good first race of the evening. I saw a lot of DNFs in the back there. I don't know. And the names. So we're going to see a replay of what happened, because it was a very, very bit of a mucky first opening few corners, but very great start for Matheus Micah. Now just over a second ahead of Saracino, followed by Frank Hamming in 3rd place.
A dream start out of the line from Micah, exactly what he needs after his woes. As we see here with Tenloy, he's got himself up in the air in race 1. So what's happened in race 2? We see with all the damage that's happened here. I think that was 4 or 5 wide I see in the background there, and then everyone gets collected towards the back there. I think that was between 17th to 21st, if I'm not mistaken. But we have to look for the replay here. There's Murno. Murno was on the soft, so having lost that front wing, that means all that advantage I was trying to get up to the order was not there in the end. And he tries to turn, but with the lack of downforce, that was just not at all ideal for the Brazilian here. I wonder where, I think he lost the front wing with the collision with Andrzejewski, if I'm not mistaken here. No, here it is. His with Latin, I believe.
The replay. There's Murno.
Oh.
He's just had a bit of a touch with someone. He just got squeezed. Oh dear. Oh, he got squeezed and had a bit of a spin.
That was
really. There's more. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. I think if this was real life, this would have been a red flag. This would be a red flag if it's real life. I gotta say that seems to be very tough. It's Riboli that was in the car that we saw in the replay, not Murno. Nice correction there from Ed Hunter in the comments. Thank you very much there. But yeah, those who actually managed to survive that big, horrific carnage in the start of the race, they're very, very lucky. We see a lot of... Oh, Saracino's out! Saracino's DNF'd!
What?
You can see 20 Saracino's out. We were too invested on what happened at the start of the race because there was a lot going on, and it seems Saracino's gone. I don't know what's happened there. Now we have Hamming in 2nd place and the Tutis in 3rd. And it seems Taris is going to be trying to get that win again, as Taris is now 4th place, and look at them there, just behind everyone. Ericsson, however, amazingly well, P5. I think from P11 because the reverse grid was from P9, so must have been a very great start for the 0-1 driver. I think replacing one of the main drivers on the roster tonight. And there's Tutus on P2, making a move on Hamming. Oh, something's happened. To Saracino. Oh, here we go. Hopefully this will be the answer to our questions as we go into the seeing the corner here. He's done pretty damn well.
Oh,
No!
no!
Oh, he missed. Oh, he just lost it at that corner. Oh no! Oh, and he's lost. Yeah, the car's gone as well. You can see the smoke. Oh, that's really unfortunate for Saracino. Oh dear, that was very a very terrible crash. I'm glad that hopefully the sensitivity on this wheel is not very high. Otherwise, you'll have very sore wrists in the morning holding onto that wheel. As we see, Oliver Tarras, P4. After starting, if I'm correct, P9, so gained a lot of positions already. As we can see here on the board, Ericsson 6 places at the start of the race. Even Van Zoest 6 places. Gonzalez Green in the points, P13. Amazing stuff from the LEF driver. The boss will be very happy with that one.
That's Christian's retired as well.
Oh, yep. I think Raboli is in the pits, as you saw. Christensen's retired once again. So, unfortunately, a bit of a forgetful race for the 101 driver. De Tutis, yep, a correction from a few people on the chat. De Tutis could still win it. There's still lots of laps to go. Oliver Tarras making a move on Hamming at the turn 1, making it look easy. And nicely done. So, in the podium already for Oliver Tarras. That's amazing stuff from the Apex Grand Prix driver. Could it be a double win? Maybe. We'll have to see. He is on the softs. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. So it's going to be interesting to see if he could be able to push it enough to maybe take like a provisional lead from Micah. And his hopes now is just to maybe defend from those 2 drivers. I think that's probably what he's going to be aiming for. But having that drain position that he was over in race 1, it's definitely at all possible. There's Wesley Stefano. He's gone a bit onto the runoff section and loses the position there to Christos Filo, as they go around through turn 13. And that was very close for comfort there from Christos Filo, but he just about holds it and keeps it onto the track. That was very close there from the 01 Esports driver, but he just about keeps it in on the track and keeps himself up into P15.
Yeah, very, very nicely done by Savilo, and it's going to be very close in the midfield pack. This is going to be the fight for that last point spot. We do also see Smith in the background as well, so there's going to be a lot of pressure on the other 01 driver for Christos Velo. P15 single point will be very, very impressive for the driver. As we see Andrzejewski P8 after losing many places after that very rough start, after a few twists, a lot of hits and side swipes in that opening lap. Hoping to make a recovery there as we go, makes an overtake on Van Zoest, going up to P17. It seems Latinen's going to try to make the same move as well, just behind, and they're still side by side. The exit of turn 2 going into turn 3, and it seems Van Zoest has lost 2 places in just a span of like 3 corners.
Very aggressive there from Latinen, but it makes sense because he really wants to make sure nothing's in between him and Andrzejewski. They're both charging up the field, and he knows that he needs to make sure that he does not lose his sight. So needs to make sure he keeps behind him. So very good there from Latinen to keep himself there without any damage to P8 and P7 for Andrzejewski. Latinen is for them both. I think Thailand will probably be on their list, but we'll have to see how the rest of the race progresses throughout the remainder of this tenure. Still about only lap 5 of 17, about 12 laps to go here. Matheus Micah still up into lead, and De Cutis about a 2-second gap away between himself there and Oliver Tarras, though also about 1.2 seconds off.
But yeah, very, very nicely done from both Andrzejewski and Latin, making it very safely past Van Zoest in those first few corners of the race. As we're in lap 5 of 17 already. They're going pretty fast around this corner. It would be even faster with the even faster cars, which is Super Lights and Super League, which everyone will see next week. Which I think around this circuit is going to be very exciting to see, and a bit more competitive as well as FS1 and FS2 and Academy. Very competitive leagues, of course, but with this one, compared to all the others, everyone's on the same engine, same everything, so it's all all equal for everyone. As we see, I'm just looking down the ladder. There are some other drivers who are just less than a second behind others. I think Gonzalez Green is just behind Miller Clont. Tenlua is already just behind Gonzalez Green, and Stefano is also just catching up to Tunlua, who's P15 at the moment. We also see Thomas Smith as well, P16. And I think something must have happened to Velo, because Velo's now down to P18. And last time we saw Velo was P15. I don't know what happened there, but, you know, but it seems very confusing there. I think we're going to get a replay of what happened to Svilo. Oh, it's a bit of a nice rough and tough between the two drivers there. I think that was, yeah, Stefano and oh dear, that's going to be a bit of damage on the car there. It might stump his speed a bit more slowly, because I know how bad car damage can do. We did see it on Micah's car in race 1 when he had damage on his car. It really bumped his speed down a bit, and very unfortunate for the 0-1 driver. Because he still has a lot of difficulties with the car. He might have to go pit unless he just lost control there. He's still going quite straight in these corners, but yeah, so far so good. As Dabrowski is just right behind him, who's P19, going to be making a move very, very soon. Just lost less than half a second behind as the fight for P18 continues. Here we go. There's Dabrowski, a Hyperion driver. Just not so far behind. Could make a move very, very soon. I don't know if Sevilla might pit or not, but we're going to be taking a look. Let's see what happens here. No, he's going to play it. He's going to play it recklessly and go and still continue. So good on Sevilla. So keep racing with the damage on the car.
Absolutely, and Dabrowski has tried to look for the inside dance for turn 1, but didn't expect Vespino to go very slow and has to take evasive action onto the run up there, but still keeps the car in pristine condition though up into P19. But clearly he can see that Dabrowski is faster than Svilo, and he just needs to make a very clean overtake onto him, but just he needs a matter of a good way to do it though. Christians, as you can clearly see, is struggling, so that damage has took a big effect onto the car and the handling aspects of it. So it's going to be some of the Hyperion esports drivers going to be hoping to hopefully quickly make a move very shortly.
There's a yellow. Thomas Smith is out.
Yep.
Yep, Thomas Smith's out. Yep, there was a yellow, and I was just trying to look for who had the accident, who's going down the ladder, and it seems Thomas Smith has had a DNF. Let's see what happened here. As that's now both overpowered drivers out of the race. Oh dear, that's really unfortunate. Oh, going off. Oh, can he skip it? And he's kind of saved it in that corner very nicely. Well done. As we go into the next corner, this is turn 13. Oh no! Oh dear! Oh, something's happened there. Must be a hardware failure there, because he wasn't able to brake. As his looking on the pedals there, he was still going on the throttle in that corner. So it must have been some sort of difficulty with the pedals. It must have been a hardware failure for Smith. So very unfortunate there for both overpowered drivers DNFing in race 2.
Oh,
we just got word from Remco. He might have crashed out frustration due to penalty limits, track limits for penalties and stuff, and must have called it a day, unfortunately. But I think that might be somewhat some shoes from that. I don't know. There might be a penalty against purposely crashing into the wall. I think there'll be something in the rulebook somewhere about that. But yeah, over to you, Amir. You're about to say something.
I'm not entirely sure how to take from. I was gonna say maybe a breakware issue, but not sure. We'll have to wait and see. Up for speculation. Van Glent though on the back of Guzowski up in for P10 though. About 9 laps remaining of this exciting race 2 of the Jeddah Street Circuit. We've got quite a handful amount of DNFs now. After that moment with Thomas Smith now. 7 DNFs now, and compared to 5 what we had in the entirety of the 25-lap race, and this is still only just lap 8 out of 17. It's a race full of attrition, and I probably expect, Alex, it's going to continue.
Yeah, it's going to be continuing, I think, throughout the race until maybe Van Glen will overtake Kozelski for P10. We can also see a train just ahead of us, apart from its two drivers, as we just see up in the camera. There's lots of drivers there as well, taking their time, you know, trying to process when they can make the move and when they could do it. As we can see, it looks like Thailand is pressuring on Andrzejewski for P6 as well. Behind there is Latinen and Van Zoost. As we head into just the near end of Sector 1, and it seems to be very going well for the KKR driver, as well as Latinen having a good one. No place changes for that driver. Rozak getting 12 places, and it seems Zeeuw is trying to regain those places as he's now gone up to P16. Taris, however, going up 6 places from the start of the race, going up to P3. The Tutis going up to P2 and gaining 3 places, and Micah just getting that 1 place after that great start after those 5 red lights went out. I think it's going to be quite a close one. I think the Tutis is going to try and go for the win. I don't know. I haven't seen an update on how far he is from Micah just yet. Oh, a bit of a spin there, but nice recovery from Ericsson. Oh, you don't want to have another accident around that corner. I can say that for sure.
Very, very close there from Ericsson, but keeps on track though. Seeing the back of there with Andrzejewski, Thailand and Latne, they're going to be on the charts for sure, up in for that coveted P5 position here. Lots of points here up for grabs. Must say for Latne though, not sure if he'll be very happy to be sandwiched between Andrzejewski with Thailand in the middle, but indeed he is on the soft, so could be a chance that they might be starting to wear it now on lap 10 out of 17. So see how much more the Apex driver can muster now, as Thailand is still applying the pressure onto Andrzejewski. He's done very, very well so far in this race, on the same tyre compound as well as Andrzejewski is on. So could be an upset here for Thailand to maybe make a move onto Andrzejewski. That'll be one for the press pages.
Yeah, it's a rough one for the Multiforce GP driver. It's just going to really affect the driver standings for the championship, and I think at this time maybe Micah might be taking the lead of the championship, if it stands as it is right now. As we still have 8 laps to go, as we're on 10 off 17. Latinen there still behind Thailand. There's a yellow in Sector 1. I'm just checking the ladder. There is a little bit of a drop there. I think it's Philo again making a mistake.
Yeah, Riboli's off.
And Riboli's out as well. So I think
Spilo's off. Oh no, that's Spilo's in the pits, I think.
It seems.
No, Spilo's off. No, Spilo's is off.
Savilo's off again. Yep. So it must have been another mistake there by Svilo. It is a quite hard track if you use too much of the curbs. Take it from my experience. It's kind of relevant to the F1 game as well. You got to be really careful on using too much curbs, otherwise you're going to be spinning it or binning it, as I would say.
Van Glen though makes a move down the inside, heading out through turn 27 though. Pretty good a move onto Kozowski, and now himself will get up into P10. However, with the slipstream in Kozowski's advantage, they're going to be going side by side though. A little bit of squeezing there up into the, but look at this for Latinen though, trying to make the move for P7 onto Thailand, but it doesn't quite work, and Thailand pushes him a bit off, and that will allow for Thailand himself to maintain P7. Good defending there from him, and just about defense from the Apex Grand Prix driver.
Yeah, very strong defending by Thailand, the KKR driver, as Latinen still hopes to maybe gain that place again for P7. P5, however, Ericsson, P5, very nicely done by the other reserve 01 esports driver, as I think both Lafont and Sapanen are absent from this race, so they have to use both reserves for this one. As we see, there's a little replay here. Must be from one of the drivers. There's Massimiliano Riboli. The leading, not the leading, I was talking about the leading valet manager, spinning out, losing the front wing there, and unfortunately must have called it a day after struggling throughout the race. And this is Svilo. Let's see what happened in this corner. It's done a bit of a spin, unfortunately not able to recover it, and nicely parked though, but unfortunately lost his front wing, and unfortunately DNF'd, so very unfortunate for him. Not the greatest race for both Pixel 8 drivers, as we see Murno P18 and out of the points still, and here we are with the cutest still. Has caught up with Matus Micah. So this is going to be very interesting now as we head into the last 6 laps of the race. So this is going to be really, really interesting. I think if I'm right, Mike is on soft tyres, if I'm right. I'm not 100% sure because those tyres are going to be wearing off for those on softs now, as we see. Oh, there we go. Yep, it's Taras on soft tyres, my mistake. So, yeah, the Oates is going to be making the most of those tyres now. Ericsson and P6 going to be fighting for P... Yep, Andrzejewski's gone up to P5, and Ericsson's now gone down to 6th place. So it looks like it's going to be a very tough one. There's still a train behind them. There's Latin and Thailand still pressuring each other for the fight for P7. Thailand's going to go... Latin trying to go around the outside, but unfortunately not able to make it stick. Oh, he's got a bit of a better exit though. He's going to still try and stay on the slipstream, staying just behind him. But no move just yet from Yassi Latinen, as you know. I think we're going to be seeing some fighting soon from the Oates and Micah, very, very, very soon.
Latinen knows that his softs are going to be wearing off fairly quickly compared to Thailand, Ericsson and Andrzejewski, so he knows he needs to make the overtake very quickly, otherwise it's going to be continuing to show its deformed health over the coming few laps now. So I think he knows it's desperation here for Yassi now, for the Finnish driver to make that move very quickly. But Andrzejewski, though, with a brilliant move onto Ericsson off screen, is exactly what that Polish driver needs to try and keep that championship contention alive between himself and Micah, make that deficit close up even more, and to be able to be sure to retain that championship lead that he came in for. As you can see here with Ericsson now, he's got the slipstream now, might be about to make a move for turn 1 if he still wants this, maybe a push to pass as well, maybe for good measure. See there with Thailand though, maybe tries to make the move, and Ericsson goes on the defensive now, squeezes a little bit on the outside by Andrzejewski, heading down through turn 1. No moves made yet, but very close here. And Thailand, meanwhile, is the biggest aggressor now, and the biggest person that's going to be at cost for Ericsson's P6 now. But we can see here with Thailand, not quite close enough though, and with that exit it will allow for Latinen now to get himself up into P7 if he could just make a good overtake attempt and maybe make it stick here as they navigate through sector 1. And he's just going to have to try and use the slipstream now to make the move as they head over through. I believe this is turn 13 now, needs to have a good exit.
Yeah, it seems Latinen wants to get around Thailand as soon as possible so he can catch up to Ericsson and Andrzejewski for that P5 as well. We do also see Van Zeeuw just not far behind as well, but I don't think it's going to be much of a pressure on Latinen. But you know, it could kick in very, very soon if he still gains time and catches up with the pack. There's a huge strain for P5 right now with all those 4 drivers just close to each other, a bit like a big old sandwich. And also, just an update from up front, the Oates still nearly just under half a second. It always has changed a bit to over half a second now, but it's all changed from time to time. Oliver Taras also less than half a second behind the Oates, so we're going to hopefully see very, very soon a fight for the P1. As we see, there's going to be a bit of a move there. Here comes Oliver Taras going around the outside of turn 1. Oh, he's went a bit too deep and had to give the position back, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, a bit of a not a great move there for Oliver Taras, and unfortunately has to stay with P3 for now. Hopefully, going to be making a move very, very soon. But I think Mike is going to be saying, I'm going to keep this gap nice and open as I possibly can now, because after that, this is going to be very good on his favour.
You can see there with Taras though, he just lightly taps the wall there, trying to push everything that he can possibly out into that car, running on the softs onto the Oates and into Micah. As you can see there with the Oates now, he knows he has to hit the ground right now, and he's now making his final push towards Micah now with the closing stages. 3 laps remaining now. See with Latinen though, round the outside for turn 3, almost puts the wheel in between himself and Thailand, but not quite enough because Thailand has the better exit out of that corner as they swing for turn 14, 3 to 15, and Thailand will still just be a bit about ahead of Latinen.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make a move around the outside, but it wasn't quite fortunate for them. And still trying to chase down that P7 from Thailand. He's going to try and make a move around this corner. They're side by side, going into the fast left-hand corner. It's going to be very close. A bit of a spin, but great recovery from Yassi Latinen. Wow, that was very, very close to lose it there, but I think he must have took too much curb around that corner and unfortunately nearly lost it. And a very great recovery, still very close behind Thailand. And here we go into the final corner. We go. This is going to be a very good opportunity for Latinen to gain some time on Thailand and make a move once again very, very soon. Now lap 15 or 17, everyone's losing time here. Everyone's going to make a move very, very soon. Otherwise, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows the desperation up ahead because he knows if he just stays behind Thailand for a few more laps, that will allow for Van Zest himself to insert himself into the picture. And with himself not being involved in many battles, I think he could be in prime contention to take away Jesse Latinen's P8. So he knows he has to make P7 right here, right now.
Yep, it seems to be, you know, he seems to be trying to stay as close as possible to Lucas Tyne on that to have that slipstream, especially in those. I'm talking too fast. I'm losing myself. My train of thought. He's going to keep on that slipstream so he can, you know, still have that opportunity very, very, very soon. As we see, the tutors now over a second behind Micah. So I think at this very moment, oh, this seems to be an overtake. Oliver Tarras has overtook the Cutis. Something's happened there off screen.
No, I think the Cutis must have spun. I think the Cutis must have spun because it was about 1.5 seconds and now he's lost it. So allow for Oliver Tarras himself to get up into second place. We'll have to see a replay on this. But this was very crucial here for Team Shiba. They're running up in second. So what has happened here?
Well, it looks very close. It looks very clean around these corners. Too much.
Oh, it's the curb.
It must have been the curb. He must have rode it too much. And yeah, he lost it. Nearly went into Oliver Tarras there and he's letting them through. Unless he was defending around this corner. Here we go. Around the outside goes Oliver Tarras, trying to make it stick as well. Oh, a bit of an oversteer there moment for the tutors. Nearly went to the back there as well. Wow, this is. I think Tarras hit the wall. Yeah, that must have. Oh, there's a bit of a touch to the wall there as well from the tutors. Let's see, around the outside goes. Oh, he's gone a bit slow there. He must have let him through. I don't know what happened there.
I think he let him pass there. I think he did let him pass there because I think he knew he gained an advantage after going off track. But see there with Tarras though on that charge toward the Cutis, he also hit the wall, so that's going to be a big blow to his suspension as well. But I don't think it's going to be that massive though to provide much of a deficit in the closing stages with the lap to go. As now we see of Latinen now. P8 still, and still chasing up Thailand, who has brilliantly defended that P7 for his life from him. And Ericsson, meanwhile, in the foreground ahead, has been doing really well to hold himself up into P6. And then Jujitski, it's starting to fade a little bit, but he'll be very, very happy with that climb up to P5. What an exciting race, I must say, Alex.
Yeah, this is amazing stuff, and it seems Oliver Tarras is catching up to Micah as we're on the penultimate lap of the race. Just over half a second. Still, yeah, he's still. Oh, look at that! Very, very close to Micah. It's going to be very, very close. It might go down to the wire if he stays very close behind him for the slipstream. As we see, I'm just looking over on the rest of the grid as well. Still, you know, not much many movements yet on the rest of the ladder of drivers as we see as the many talents, many really well done as we see. Nicely done by Tarras. Here we go. Final lap of the race is all or nothing now for Oliver Tarras. Here we go.
What a dream this will be for Tarras, who came in here without winning a single Formula Sprint 1 race, might have an opportunity to come out with 2. And Micah, meanwhile, who needs this for his championship battle with Andrzejewski, might come crumbling down through this Englishman. We have to see here for the final lap now. Tarras has to give everything that he possibly can up from these soft tires, and Micah will have to defend everything he possibly can from those hard tires. It's going to be all or nothing. Malta Force versus Apex Grand Prix. Who's going to come on top, Alex?
Yeah, it's still very, very close. There's a bit of a gap there. I think he lost a bit of time there in those corners on Micah. But, you know, he's very, very good straights there. That's going to give him some slipstream advantage. Especially, I think he's going to be using most of that push to pass now as we head into the final lap. Still over half a second of a gap, but it's going to be very, very close as we head into the next few corners here. Into the right and left is a bit of a roller coaster, as Lando Norris would say in his little song in when he was in the US Grand Prix. It's all left and right as we head into the fast corners around here. Fully throttled down as we head into the bit of a lift off area as we go over down a few gears into gear 3, going around a few corners. I don't think it's going to be happening for Oliver Tarras to get the win. So I think Micah is easily going to get this win in race 2. So I think it's going to be a great recovery for the Multiforce GP drivers, especially both Multiforce GP drivers after having that rough patch in race 1. Here we go, into the final corner we go. No problems there for both of the drivers. And Mathieusz Micah for Multiforce GP wins race 2 at the Jeddah circuit, followed by Oliver Tarras getting P2. Amazing drive by both of those drivers and very close at the end.
That was incredible there. Taos gave everything he possibly can with the slight wall tap. Lost all that opportunity. Lorenzo Takiris himself will get him to P3. Valuable points for Team Sheba and Hamming for 4th. Andrzejewski 5th. Ericsson 6th. Stylen 7th. Oh no, that was happening in the background. That's between Stefano and Gonzalez Green. Saw an overtake. Actually, Green was making an overtake for P15. He's lost his rear wing and his front wing. And that's going to be heartbreak for LEF Auto Racing that loses valuable points.
Oh no! Oh, I have not seen what happened. All I saw was a big collision between two drivers there, and now Dabrowski is going to get the final points of race 2. Lucas Mono also getting P16. A great recovery from that driver. Hopefully we're going to see what's going to be happening on the replay very soon. I could not see it happening just at the final corner there. Let's see what happened between these two drivers as we go around the final corner. Here we have Gonzalez Green. Nice exit there. Bit of a slide there from the... Oh! A bit of a back shunt there from the MS Performance driver. That was very dirty there, I think, in my opinion.
He moved whenever he was making an overtake, and unfortunately that is just way too aggressive defending, I think. It's heartbreak for Alex, I must say, and that car is not moving whatsoever. He's not going to be able to finish on the points, and that going to leave probably another retirement onto the collection, which is absolutely bizarre in a 17-car race.
A 17-lap race, 30 cars overall. It's gone, and we had 30 to 20 cars gone. So wow, this has been one of the most carnage of races I ever seen. I know I said that many last season and everything, but wow, amazingly well. This has been a bit of a mad race.
Absolutely. Mateusz Majka, though, get himself exactly what he needs to do to get himself retakes the championship lead away from his team at Andrzejewski. Oliver Towers with a great last lap attempt. Fortunately tapped the wall, but he'd be very happy with the double podium here in 2nd place. Lorenzo Takiris rounds off for Team Sheba in 3rd with very good points here to pick up the pieces after what happened to pole sitter Saracino. Frank Hemming, the best of the rest for HGP Motorsport in 4th with Pavel Andrzejewski. Good recovery him back up to 5th. Jesper Eriksson will be very happy with the P6 for him with Lucas Stylen brilliantly defended away from Jase Latinen for 7th and Latinen himself up in 8th. Van Glen would be in P9 with Raymond Van Sust, who rounds off for the top 10. Matthias Gazowski for Nexium is in P11, followed by Padrik Rosak in 12th. That's a double Nexium 11-12. Menno Klant for 13th with Wesley Stefano. With that incident, he himself promotes up to P14. Mateusz Dabrowski rounds off for the points finishers in P15 with Lucas Murno. Again, good recovery for him after what happened to him in the start to finish in P16 with Ten Lure. Also good recovery for him what happened to the start to finish in P17. And Olivier Halsvik rounds off for the finishers with the DNFs being Alex Gonzalez Green after that last lap collision. Christos Rilo after his suspension damage that happened to him a couple of laps back. Macedonio Rabali within his spin that happened at Lorenzo Turi as well. Thomas Schmidt with that brake failure / range quit. Marcus Christensen and Giuseppe Saracino having their spins and mistakes with Gusman Michalak, Scott Flack, Sven de Vries, Mateusz Zubinski and Karl Magnus Bore being involved in that first 3 laps collisions.
But yeah, a lot of DNFs here overall, but amazing driving by everyone overall, especially Apex GP especially getting that 1-2 in race 1, and amazingly well done and good recovery from both Multiforce GP drivers in race 1 as well as Micah winning the race, the Jeddah Grand Prix in the sprint race 2. And I think it's going to be a bit of an evening to forget for some drivers. Christensen, one hand, I think LEF might have to forget this race as well. But on the bright side, there's still lots to play for. This is only the 4th round of the season. We still have more races to come later on this season. As we see, I think what's the next race? I think it's Spain, if I'm correct. And there we go. Yeah, there's the graphic there. Thank you, Remco. As you see, the Spanish Grand Prix is next on the 1st of May after a little Easter weekend off. And this is going to be a very nice track, especially being there in being there in real life, seeing the F1 and F2 and F3 there in real life, it's a great track to race on for all of the cars. So I think all the leagues, especially FS1, is going to be a very exciting race as we head there in 2 weeks' time.
And again, for the true street circuit specialists, they'll have to wait until Singapore and Canada, and then those are the only ones that are going to be hosting the street circuit races here for the Formula Sprint 1 calendar. Canada will come over in June after that spring/summer break between the United States and Montreal, and then also for Singapore, that's also the dying stages of the championship fight by that point as well. So be an eye out for those, and for those that managed to capitalize here on Jeddah, especially for a driver like Oliver Taras, that's going to be very, very happy with the results here. And this race has been phenomenal and has surely changed the landscape of this championship here, both on the drivers and on the teams. And what an exciting, I must say, dare I say, Formula Sprint 1 Classic.
And I think it's about time before we run out of time. I think we should head into the interviews now. We do have a list of drivers in there waiting for interviews. So I say, Amir, I think I'll let you have the picks here to who to bring in.
No, you.
No me. Okay. I never had this before. This is a nice honor. This is usually Owen's job. I gotta say, I think we're gonna go for the big, strong race winner of race 1, Oliver Taras, to come in. Let me get him in here if I know how to, if I can find it. There we go. Oh, I did it. There we go. Welcome, Oliver Taras. Can you hear us both?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Good.
So, firstly, congratulations on tonight's both races, P1 and P2. How do you feel about how do you feel about that after a very successful evening here at Jeddah?
Feels good. Not expected, because I thought my teammate was gonna actually destroy me, but I pulled out a crazy lap in qualifying, and then just kept it in the race. Bit unlucky in race 2 though. Maybe could have had a chance on Micah, but got there a bit too late.
Yeah, it was very, very close for you in the final laps of race 2, but still amazingly well done. Do you think as the season goes on, do you think you can keep up the pace to maybe have some more wins, more podiums later on this season?
I mean, I hope so, but with everybody being so quick, it's a bit difficult. And this is probably our best track, so thankfully we proved ourselves on it.
All right, over to you, Amir.
Looking through your career here, at least within the Formula Sprint 1 championship over here, you've entered into 30 races and you've got yourself into the podium like 5 times. You've been very narrowly close into the win here, especially like in places like last year over in Brazil. Did you think heading over into Jeddah that you've mentioned before that your team knew that this was a very strong track as well, and addition to that, you've also gotten P3 before in a similar street circuit in that of Melbourne. Did you think that you would come out of here with your first race win in FS1?
Not really. As I said, my teammate was looking unbelievable in practice, but unfortunately just couldn't hook it up in qualifying, and then the race was just sit behind people and wait. So it was a bit difficult to overtake, really. And obviously I was ahead of him, so there was no risk in anything.
Absolutely. One of your best results though, one of the better drivers here from Jeddah now. How would you feel given that this has been a really good race result for not only for you but also for Apex Grand Prix as a team? How does your team now feel for a change of momentum now heading for the upcoming races in Barcelona, Indianapolis?
We're happy with the result, obviously, but we're not taking too much optimism out of it, because we just know that beating Multiforce is going to require a lot of work, and it's going to be unbelievably difficult considering they've already got a massive jump on us. So I think we're aiming for second place now, just trying to beat Team Sheba.
I got it. Yeah. Thank you very much, though, Oliver. I'm sure you'd be extremely ecstatic, though, with one of your first race wins, and now that makes another race winner onto the collection. Very congratulations. Be sure to party hard.
Thank you.
There we go. I think it would. We also prefer to bring Apex GP's team owner Domenico, who's also in the waiting room as well. Let's get all these top dogs in here and then we'll carry on with Lorenzo and you. I think Yuho's in there as well, but I don't think he was driving today. So we'll just quickly bring in Domenico quickly. Hello, Domenico. Can you hear us? Oh.
Hello?
Oh, there we go. Hello. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
All right, awesome. How do you feel about after this race? A 1-2 in race 1 and Oliver Tara's getting P2 in the sprint race. It must been more than very joyful than you. That must be an understatement.
Yeah, I'm definitely really happy. A bit sad that I couldn't help my guys today because of a hardware issue. But I followed the guys on the stream, but also a bit in race 2 through my phone. And I'm really proud of their result. They just did what happened last year in FS2 in Jeddah. So I don't know what with Apex and Jeddah, but I'm really happy after this result.
Yeah, I'm really happy for your team as well. After I think it was you did pretty well in last round as well in Japan, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Yes, you did really well in Japan as well. I'm just double checking the scores on the boards. Latin getting the P1 and Taras getting P3 in race 2. And now, with it also being a very successful evening, do you think it will continue over in Spain and maybe any of the other venues we're going to be going later this year, or do you think you may struggle a bit, with other circuits like maybe Canada or maybe another street circuit like Singapore, or do you think it's all going to be going smoothly from here?
We had a bit of down at the start of the season, but we are getting back slowly, and we've seen already the results. Today, another double podium, like Japan in race 2, and I'm pretty sure we can carry this momentum, this energy, even for the following rounds as well. So definitely need to keep an eye on us.
Okay, Amir, do you have any questions for Domenico?
Recently spoke to your drivers, though, like very incredible performance from both drivers, I must say, especially for that 1-2 in race 1. But they are saying they're not quite, their words, they said not feeling optimistic though for the races. But having what you've seen though from the Jeddah, what's your take now? And then for the upcoming races just before the spring-summer break, I want to know what's your predictions for your teams in those 2 races in Barcelona and Indianapolis for your team.
I mean, what I really want to hope is to definitely close into the P1 for the constructors battle. At the moment, Malta Force are far, but I'm pretty sure we can catch up a bit more before the spring break. And just keep going like this. Nothing else to add because we are really doing a good job.
Absolutely. Congratulations, though. I'm sure you must be very ecstatic with your performance. And as I mentioned before to Oliver beforehand, be sure to party hard.
Oh, yes, we will. Don't worry.
Yeah, have a great evening, mate. Have a good one.
You too, guys. Goodbye.
There we go. That's Domenico done with the interviews. We do have, I think, 3 more, but we can have 2 in at the same time. I don't know if Yuho was racing tonight. I haven't seen his name in the.
He will. I don't think he will.
No, so I think he's just. So I think we might, unfortunately, not bring him in unless I get standing corrected by someone in the back rooms giving me info. So we're gonna get in Pavel Andrzejewski and Matus Maika, both Multiforce GP drivers, and talk about what happened for tonight. Give me a second. There we go. Hey guys, can you hear me nice and clear?
Hello, hi.
Yeah, hello.
Yep. Firstly, a great race from you both. Nice recovery from you, Andrzejewski from for round one. Do you guys are able to tell us, from your both point of views, what might have happened in race one?
To be honest, I made a mistake. It's simple as that. I went too far over this Mount Everest curb. It has lifted my car so badly that I lost nearly all the downforce from the floor. And yeah, basically that's it. It's my mistake. I only can blame myself for that. But mistakes can still happen, and also I don't feel that it's very bad in terms of championship, because there's still plenty of races to go, and such things can happen. But I know that we can bounce back, and we can be even stronger coming to the next races.
And Matthias, what can I ask? Kind of a relative same question. You started to kind of struggle, I think, mid or the later stages of race one. I think it must have been from damage. Can I ask what might have happened from yours as well?
Yeah, I also made a mistake and massively touched the wall, so my suspension got damaged. My wheel was like 20 degrees on the left to drive straight, so it was very difficult to manage it, to feel confident with that. Also, something strange happened with my rear end suspension. I was struggling with the going on the throttle in right-handers. So I was like, it was on second lap or third lap with the medium tires, and I was not able to build the confidence to drive faster. So I was like 1.5 seconds slower. I was thinking that maybe I will be able to stay in top 5, top 6. But I ended the race in P8, but it was not good, not bad result looking on that damage. Yeah.
But yeah,
That's all about race one, I think.
Yeah, it's about race one. Yeah. You did handle it very well as well. Both of you guys, especially with the recovery from the little spin that you had as well, Pavel. And I'd say personally that was pretty impressive. And before I head over questions from Amir, I could ask. Race 2 was a bit of an improvement, if I'm right. Micah, you won the sprint race. It got quite close. And again, in the later stages of race 2, it got quite close with Oliver Taras just behind you. Well, it was the Tutis, but I think the Tutis had a bit of a moment and had to let Taras through. How do you think you might have something like that? Maybe in later in other races, maybe having some pressure from other drivers, or do you think it might be hopefully easier from now on, as we don't have any street circuits until for another few weeks or a few months?
Yeah, it's hard to say because Apex team was very strong. They were dominant last year in FS2. They were, I think, dominant also this year. in race 2, the situation was different because on the start I was able to build a big gap. Then I was only focusing on managing the tires and don't making a mistake. I was not even pushing hard. On the end of the race, like 3 laps before the end, I was like 100 seconds of push to pass saved. So there was no risk and to lose that lead. Quite boring race, more like tactic, not racing. But yeah, it's hard to say what will be happening on the next rounds. To be honest, this was the first round of the season where I not practiced that much. I started on Tuesday, do like 30 laps. Yesterday I did like half of the race sim, and it was all. So I felt not much confident because of that. So it was a big mistake because that track needs a lot of practice. Yeah, but the results are very good. I think I managed to use everything I've got. I know that I need to overtake Saracino on the first corner, and it worked. So yeah, also good points for Pavel. I think we are not very happy about that run, but it was not that bad at all. You know, if the bad rounds will be ending both races in top 10 with both drivers, so I will get it, and I think we will do the job perfectly with that, and I think win the championship with the team.
Amir, do you have any questions for Pavel or Matisse?
You both did very well, despite the circumstances, and recovered very well. So, honestly, give my applause to you. Still doing very well, both respectively in the championships. But from that, just say that minor setback, though, you both have still been doing a pretty good podium streak up until then. So, I'm curious, from this slight setback, there's about 2 races until the spring-summer break, of which all the momentum is reset. So, how are you two expecting to, say, bounce back to that form previously?
Well, the result, or maybe the solution for bouncing back, is just not to make mistakes, because this was the main thing that has compromised our results today, especially in race 1, because the match points are given. Of course, Mateusz has won the second race, so he will be taking the lead over from me, I think, after this race. I think it's definitely that he will be taking over the lead from me. And yeah, my second race was compromised as well from the very first turn, but I think that it's now it's actually way past me, those races. I'm now focusing on getting prepared to the Catalonia races. Last year I was debuting in FS1 after the long break there, so I have good memories, and I hope that those memories will just make me feel and fight for even better result than we did today.
Well done to you both for your recoveries, and both of you have looking very good so far in the championship. So all my hats off to you, Matthias and Pavel. Really phenomenal job, and I look forward to seeing you guys continue to race continuously here, and especially for the next round over in Barcelona. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Let's see who's next on the list. I think we're gonna speak to head of LEF, which is Lorenzo.
Can we do Yuho, please?
Yeah, I have been told in the chat, Yuho is here to talk about Svilo and Ericsson. Hopefully not a meme or anything. So
Alright, fine.
I think
I'll bring him in then. I'll bring him in.
yeah, you can bring Yuho in after a good I think a good race from I think if I'm right from Ericsson. So
Hello?
Hello. Oh my god.
oh
Hello, Yuho. You did very well in the race 2 in Jeddah. You finished P3. How did you pull that off?
Wait. I wasn't driving. I was mostly off, but I wanted to talk here because of well.
I knew I wasn't going to do it, but I still did it. No, you were there for Svilo and Ericsson. We were having a joke, and the broadcast team was like, "What if I bring you in?" And I just gaslit you and said, "How did you pull a podium position off?" And just,
that was funny. Well, well, honestly, I really want to say, honestly, props to Jesper Eriksson because in race 1 he has done an amazing. He did a really amazing drive. Okay, pit lane crash, but it happens. But also P11 is not bad. Then also on race 2, I was like, oh wait, we have a chance for podium here. We were fast, but there was a train, of course. Jesper was trying his best, and well, he managed to finish P6 in the end. And well, in other words, for Svilo, it's a shame that he crashed both races, but he managed to still complete race 1. It's a shame, honestly, that he crashed out in race 2 as well, but it happens, it's racing. I did not make the race thanks to me healing my wrist and also trying not to get a fever again.
Yeah, but do talk us through, because not only that Ericsson suffered from the pit lane crash as well, but also Svilo was having a bit of the suspension issue heading through race 2 before his unfortunate crash. So was it just a series of bad luck, would you say, for that team as a whole to like suffer in those circumstances for 0-1?
Well, yeah, kind of like bad luck, but I mean, as we come back stronger, and also we hope to score more points in Barcelona, and yeah, hopefully at some point I will have goodbye in Barcelona.
Alex?
but yeah. Yeah, Yuho, a very amazing drive from both drivers. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be for one of them. I think it was if I'm correct, yeah, Svilo. But Ericsson put a pretty good drive for the team today. Do you think could he get some interest from maybe some other teams, or maybe a contract from this team this season or next season, or you think it might be hard for now because it was just the one race wonder?
Ericsson is, I will say it, Ericsson is signed as a primary driver for our team. Svilo is only our reserve driver. I will be back in Barcelona.
Oh, okay. What happened to Lafont?
It's a bit of a personal story with him, but so I'd rather not say it.
And yep, I respect that, of course. You don't need to say it. That's perfectly fine. And I wish Lafont the best, of course. But
Yes.
I think that's all the questions I have since now, and I know the answer for Ericsson. So yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. And yeah, honestly, it has been a very great day for the team, scoring, well, in provisional total, it would be 15 points, if I'm right.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes.
Thank you for coming over, Yoho. You have a great evening, and we'll see you on the track again for Barcelona. If you said yep, yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
thank
well-
you. And see you. Do
Yeah.
you want to say bye-bye?
Yeah. Have a great evening.
All best.
All right, last one of the evening is LEF manager Lorenzo. Let's bring him in and talk about the team's performance tonight.
Okay.
Hi there, Lorenzo. Can you hear us loud and clear?
So.
He's too tired.
Yes.
Yeah. Apologies for the bit of the wait. Firstly, it was a bit of a rough evening, but hopefully, not the first, not the last time. People have rough days, people have good days. Do you think De Vries and Gonzalez Green may pick up themselves for Barcelona next week and maybe improve, or do you think there's still a lot of work to be done other than that?
Well, Alex definitely will pick himself up. I mean, he was on course for points today as well. Unfortunately, ran out of fuel last turn, last lap. So, yeah, miscalculation on our part. But had a talk with Sven after Suzuka, and he himself said back then that depending on how Jeddah goes, that he will see how his future lies in FS1, and he has decided that he's just not comfortable with this season's car, and he would rather not commit himself to a season where he knows he can't give his best due to not being able to come to terms with the car. So, as per his request, we've mutually parted ways, and yeah, as of next round, Sven de Vries is not going to be a driver for LEF for the racing anymore.
That's really unfortunate, and I hope Sven de Vries the best in the future, and hopefully a swift return as well.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have been able to employ Sven in the first place. A driver definitely of his caliber. I can't say that Sven is not a good driver, he just wasn't able to get to grips with the car, especially. I know he told me that he's a bit limited with his time that he can devote to practice due to work commitments, but I mean, he has been vice champion in Formula Sprint 1, 2, 3 times before, so to have had a driver of his name on board with the team, if only for 4 rounds, is definitely something I'm happy with. And I mean, he got us P3 in our debut round, so definitely something that we as a team and he as well can look on fondly at the end of the season. And yeah, I wish Sven really the best in the future, and I'm very happy to have had him on board with the team.
Did you say you have anyone in mind to take the seat for the rest of the season, or are you on the search for now?
Well, funny you mentioned that. It's not officially finalized, but as it stands, today's debutant for Grifone, Lorenzo Turi, will be his replacement.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's great stuff. I'll leave the last remaining questions of the night to you, Amir.
Thank you, Alex. Oh well, what can I mention? Like, Alex Gonzalez Green barely just missing on points, though. No, that must be a heartbreak for you. But as you mentioned before, unofficially though, but looks to be more or less good for him since you've name dropped him. Lorenzo Turi himself has got FS1 experience and also done very well in the Academy Series, also in the GPVWC. So curious, with how would you feel with a new driver coupled with Alex Gonzalez Green's already stellar performance in the LEF car? How are you faring now for the next 2 races in Barcelona and Indianapolis before the break?
I'm feeling quite confident, I will say. I know Lorenzo from previous experience. I can't say driven, but we've been in the same Factor 1 league before. I approached a couple of people in that same league asking whether anyone would be interested, and he was one of the first people to respond. So, I mean, I brought him into GPVWC, and he's a good friend of mine. So he's also rapid, which is definitely a bonus. But yeah, I trust Lorenzo a lot, and I know what he can do. He's shown himself perfectly capable in Academy. He's shown himself capable today in FS1. In FS2, not so much. He did say to me himself that he's not a big fan of the FS2 racing. The cars not as much as the racing, but yeah, he's definitely proven what he can do. And I think Alex as well will benefit from this, because he himself is a good driver, but he has admittedly not been as confident in making his own setups. So he's been on a bit of a setback there, and I think having Lorenzo, who's pretty good at making setups as his teammate, will give him that little bit of confidence that he'll need to, I hope, get points more consistently, as you mentioned as well. He was very close today, but unfortunately just used too much push to pass, burned his fuel too quickly, and yeah, ran out as he was defending from Wesley.
Looks to be a turn of fortunes for LAF Auto Racing as a whole. So all of us wish our best wishes to Sven de Vriesen. We hope to see him back into the grid in the near future. But thank you very much for your time, Lorenzo. It looks to be very promising futures for your team, and all my best wishes also to Alex and Lorenzo as well for their remaining races here in the Formula Sprint 1 calendar.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, yourself as well.
All right, I think that wraps everyone.
Yep, that's everyone. So, wow, what an exciting race has that been, Alex. Any closing thoughts and your own personal thoughts for Jeddah as a whole?
I don't know why, but every time I keep saying I've never seen a race that amazing since years ago, it's switched again. That's the best race I've seen this season. Once again, it keeps getting better and better each round, and I can't wait for the next 2 weeks as we head over to Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix, and I can't wait for all the action to see there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be absolutely incredible to see how the remaining races up until that spring summer break pans out. But as it stands, Pavel Andrzejewski still holds on to the championship lead, but only still just about 3 points ahead of his teammate Mateusz Majka. Yasin Latinin and Oliver Taras got themselves some much needed points to bounce themselves up ahead, not only for them, but also for the team's championship as well, because Apex Grand Prix has overtaken Team Shiba for second place onto the championship. Join us next week over, because on Monday, the Academy Series returns. However, it's not going to join along with the rest of the GPVWC calendar. It will diverge from Jeddah and it will move all the way over to Imola, which is going to be pretty exciting. But then it's back over here to the regular GPVWC career ladder as well. At the same time, 7:25 BST at the 22nd of April. The Superlights makes its grand return here to the Jeddah Corniche circuit. And then exactly a week from now, on the 24th of April, the long coveted Super League also makes a return here, which also is going to make its last stage here in the street circuit before since Melbourne. But other than that, from Alex, it's
It's a good night from me, and happy Easter.
And it's a good night for me. See you later.